Fox Sports welcomes you to Municipal Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. 108 degrees on the field for the 1-3 Jaguars and the undefeated Panthers. Good afternoon, everybody. Kenny Albert, along with Tim Green. The Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars entered the NFL together a year ago. And Tim, who would have thought the Panthers would be 3-0 at this point, including their second all-time victory over the 49ers?
Well, Kenny, this is a team that has an excellent plan for winning, and it starts at the top. They've been making all the right moves. Drafting young players on offense like Tamanga Biaka-Batuka. You're going to see how exciting he is today. And then building their defense around veteran free agents like Kevin Green and Lamar Latham. They've been winning the war there.
Now, the Jaguars have not enjoyed as much success on the field as the Panthers, but they did defeat Pittsburgh week 1, and they feel they have a future star in quarterback Mark Brunell.
Well, Mark Brunell leads the NFL in passing yardage right now. Part of that is because receivers Keenan McCardle and Andre Rison are outstanding. But today they want to run the football. Now they've got a big, tall offensive line, and what that line's going to have to do today is get their height down, get low, underneath the Carolina Panther defense if they're going to move the ball, run it on the ground, and win this game today.
And coming up in just a moment, the opening kickoff, the first ever regular season meeting between the Panthers and the Jaguars, when Fox NFL Sunday continues.
Fox, home of Super Bowl 31.
It's a blitz, a spectacular end-of-the-month sales blitz at Kings Crown Ford. A sale you don't dare miss. Hundreds of cars, trucks, and vans at unheard-of savings. Buy today, drive today. Save up to $5,000. Collect up to $2,000 cash back. Finance as low as 6.9%. We're Kings Crown Ford, your U.S. #1 Southern Ford dealer. 3 blocks south of the Avenues Mall on US 1. We're dealing.
Celebrate 30 years of Star Trek as Fox 30 presents Trek-O-Rama, the Star Trek convention, Sunday, November 3rd at the Ramada Conference Center with our very special guest speaker, William Shatner. Don't miss Trek-O-Rama, the Star Trek convention in celebration of Trek's 30th anniversary, Sunday, November 3rd at the Ramada Conference Center, Arlington Expressway. Brought to you by Fox 30.
Coming up on College Ball Live, the Seminoles play host to North Carolina. Is this a team that can finally hang around with FSU in the ACC other than Virginia?
As a matter of fact, you finally convinced me. I think Carolina does hang around with the Seminoles in Tallahassee.
Ohio State and Notre Dame get together. I guess Ohio State's the new team you're in love with.
You're so mad that I knew how good Ohio State was and you didn't.
Ohio State, Notre Dame, Florida State, North Carolina. We'll have it all for you. Be sure to tune in.
Catch College Ball live Sunday nights following Fox 30 News at 10. First with news, first with sports, first with weather. First every night at 10. Watch Fox 30 News at 10 tonight. Fox, home of Super Bowl 31.
You want real? I'll give you real. All-Pro guard Will Shields. Will protects the touchdown boys. No glamour there. Somebody gets in the way of his running back, he says, hello, that's real. What's a guy like that do to refuel? He heads to Boston Market for a chicken carver combo. That's a real meal for $4 for a limited time. $4 gets him a chicken carver Sammy, side order, and drink. All for $4. That's real. Then what? He's back in the trenches. Looking for a little dessert. Eat big, eat real. Eat a Boston Carver.
Back in Jacksonville, the Carolina Panthers with a record of 3 wins, no losses, and what a terrific job head coach Dom Capers has done in his 2 seasons. And Tom Coughlin on the opposite sideline. He feels the Jaguars have gotten off to disappointing starts the last 3 weeks before they have fought back in the second halves of those respective games. Winslow Oliver, the rookie out of New Mexico, along with Michael Bates. Bates second in the NFC. In the kickoff return department, Mike Hollis, as the Panthers have won the toss. And we are set to go. These teams met in the Hall of Fame game back in 1995. Last year, Panthers won that one 20-14. For the first time in the regular season, it's the Panthers and the Jaguars. And this is Michael Bates. Tripped up as he crosses the 20-yard line, a return of 19. Robert Massey, a native of Charlotte, made the stop for the Jaguars. Steve Burleigh, former Jacksonville Jaguar, started 6 games for the Jaguars a year ago. for the injured Kerry Collins. The men protecting Berline. Dennis, Garcia, Whitley, Strepanak from the Raiders, and Brockermeyer. Bianca Batuka and Griffith in the backfield. Mark Carrier with Willie Green. And the tight end, Wesley Walls, 2 touchdowns last week in the victory over the 49ers. 1st and 10, and this is the rookie, Tamunga Bianca Batuka out of Michigan, 1st-round pick, and he gains 4 yards on 1st down. The Jaguars' defense, their front 4, Clyde Simmons, the longtime Philadelphia Eagle, John Yurkovich from the Packers with Kelvin Pritchett and Joel Smengi. Linebacking core, Robinson, McManus for the injured Brian Schwartz, along with rookie Kevin Hardy, Washington, Hudson, Davis, and Dave Thomas replacing Vinnie Clark, who was released on Monday. On 2nd down, Berline to the air for the first time. The intended receiver was the rookie out of Michigan State, Muhsin Muhammad.
One of the things Steve Berline told us yesterday was that Muhsin Muhammad is one of the most physical wide receivers he's ever seen. A Michael Irvin, Chris Carter type. But he's young. He's a rookie. So while he's mixing it up with defensive backs, sometimes he forgets to get a quicker separation from the coverage. That's what happened on that play. Muhammad didn't get separation quick enough, forcing Berline to overthrow him on that pass.
3 wide receivers for the Panthers on 3rd down and 6. Berline in trouble, threw it away. Tremendous pressure from the Jaguars.
We talked about the Carolina Panthers defensive free agents, Lamar Lathan and Kevin Green. Here's what the free agents are doing for the Jaguars. Look at Clyde Simmons and the push he gets. He pushes his guy right into Berline, and then Eddie Robinson, 50 there, another free agent acquisition linebacker. 2 free agents for the Jaguars winning on that play.
Short kick by Ron Stark is down at the 42-yard line, only a 33-yard punt. So the Jaguars will start out in excellent field position. Mark Brunell leading the NFL in yardage, over 400 last week, also among the league leaders in both touchdowns and interceptions. Baselli, the 1st-round pick a year ago, with Coleman, Wydell, DeMarco, and the free agent from Pittsburgh, Leon Searcy. James Stewart with Lachey Maston, Keenan McCardell, Andre Rison, the wide receivers, and the tight end is Derek Brown. So the Jaguars start from their own 41. Brunell with loads of time now is pressured. He dumps it off to the fullback, Lachey Maston, for a gain of 3. Defensively, the Panthers, tremendous job a year ago, and they've continued their terrific play. Williams, Cragen, and the former Giant Mike Fox up front. One of only 3 teams that play a 3-4 defense. Lathan, Bailey, Mills, and Green, the strength of the Panthers D. Tyrone Poole, Pat Terrell, Brett Maxey, and the Pro Bowler from the 49ers, Eric Davis. 3 wide receivers on 2nd and 7. The handoff goes to James Stewart out across midfield, and he is finally taken down by the combination of Pat Terrell and Kevin Green, but a gain of 8 for the 1st-rounder last year out of Tennessee.
I like the way Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator for Jacksonville, has come out and opened up this game, because when you want to run the football, the best way to run the ball is to throw on 1st down, the very first play of the game. Throw, they gave the quarterback Brunell protection, and then that gets the Carolina Panther defense not knowing what's going on. Then you run on the next play, you pick up 8 yards.
Here's Brunell to the air once again, has the tight end Rich Griffith down the sideline, finally forced out at the 31. Gain of 17 yards. Brett Maxey finally forced Griffith out of bounds.
When you're a defensive back and you see a big tight end out there, you can't go down low at his legs. You've got to tackle him like a running back. You've got to wrap him up. And Tyrone Poole, number 38, comes in. Watch him here. He just throws his body down at Mitchell. I mean, Griffith, that never works against a big tight end. It might knock a thin receiver down, but not a tight end. Poor tackle.
He missed him. 1st and 10 after the 17-yard gain. Play action. Brunell could not find an open receiver. Takes it himself, has the first down and more inside the 15-yard line.
This is a Carolina Panther defensive nightmare. They knew Mark Brunell was going to come into this game scrambling. Now, what the plan was to keep Lamar Lathan up this side, the right side, keeping him, forcing Brunell to scramble against his arm. So Brunell scrambles against his arm. He's a lefty. He scrambles to his right. But look what a dangerous runner he is. This is why people compare him to Steve Young.
He led all quarterbacks in rushing last year, 17 yards on the first down run by Brunell. 1st and 10 from the Panthers 14, and Brunell is forced to call timeout. Brunell saw something he did not like, and the Jaguars call time. 3.5 minutes in from Jacksonville.
Remember the day when you were finally this tall? Suddenly you had the freedom to go places you never could before. The sky was the limit. But it was always more fun to go there with a friend. That's why Southwest Airlines brought back Friends Fly Free. Just buy a ticket at our full unrestricted fare, and a friend flies with you free.
Wanna go again?
Southwest Airlines.
Can this simple structure make a car more fun? Well, if you work at it. The cross members in the undercarriage of a Dodge Stratus make the rail stiffer, which make the frame stronger, which make the ride better, and make the car more fun to drive. You can be sure we've been working on the rail all the livelong day. Dodge Stratus. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you and get $500 cash savings on Stratus.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines with low fares on every flight, every seat, every day. By the new Dodge, it's about change. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. And by Castrol, official motor oil sponsor of the NFL.
Back in Jacksonville, Mark Brunell did not call timeout before the play clock round down to 0. So the Jaguars have been forced back 5 yards and charged with their first timeout.
And that's a costly mistake because the Jaguars, more than anything, wanted to start out fast on their offense. Now, their defense started out fast. They turned the ball. They got the ball back. Carolina had a poor punt. Now Jacksonville starts to drive, mixing the run with the pass. Everything's working. The last thing you want is to be 1st and 15 in the red zone. You set yourself up for defeat.
Penalties killed the Jaguars last week. 17 penalties during their overtime loss to the Patriots.
Yeah, this isn't a penalty, but it's a mental error that costs you 5 yards. It is a penalty. It costs you 5 yards.
So it's now 1st and 15. Brunell is taken down. A loss of 2 on the play. Sam Mills, 37 years old, still going strong.
Now, well, the amazing thing about this play is the Carolina coverage, because you're going to see excellent protection up front. Watch this big offensive line work. Now, they pick up this zone blitz. Carolina sends the backers, but look at Brunell. He's got no place to go, no receiver open. This is the coverage. Here it is. Andre Rison. He's working against Eric Davis. Those two guys worked together for years and years. Rison in Atlanta, Davis with the 49ers.
So now 3 wide receivers for the Jaguars on 2nd and 17. Brunell scrambles away from Kevin Green, now fires and has the first down inside the 5 once again. It's the tight end, Rich Griffith, this time a gain of 18 yards.
Well, you wonder why people say Mark Brunell reminds them of Steve Young. This is a perfect play to exemplify that. Brunell, watch his scrambling ability. He gets back. Now there's coverage downfield. He's got no place to go. Watch the stiff arm here. Look at that right there. He stiff arms Kevin Green, knocks him off, directs his receiver. That's Steve Young. That's better than Steve Young. Plays himself. I mean, Brunell is a strong, athletic guy. And that's leadership. That's leadership on the field.
Last week, the Panthers went up against Steve Young. This week, Mark Brunell. First and goal on the 3. 2 tight ends for the Jaguars. The lone back is Stewart. This is Stewart. And he is held up just shy of the goal line. Tried to force his way in, but the entire linebacking core of the Panthers said no.
Well, this is all about attitude right here, because you're first and goal from the 3, and you want to be able to run the football. Here's where you've got to run the football. And Tom Coughlin wants those big guys up front to get down, to get low in their stances. They worked at it all week. They worked extra on a sled. They worked extra on their run drills. And here's where it counts. Here's where you get low underneath the pads of the Carolina defense, and you push them. You push them, and Stewart had a nice hard run as well.
How about this, Tim? 3 tight ends, 2 backs, no receivers, and Stewart leaping. Did he get in? Yes, he is in for the touchdown.
And that's all surge up front by that Jaguars offensive line. It's all about leverage. It's all about getting up underneath the pads. Watch the surge here. Underneath the surge, and then Stewart makes a nice leap. He comes from a long way back. He starts that leap at about 4 yards. Actually, he leapt too soon, but he got in anyway, and it's a nice example of a guy giving up his body to get his team in the end zone, to get that fast start that this Jacksonville team needs.
And now for the point after, Mike Hollis, 8 of 8 on the season, now 9 of 9. 3rd touchdown this season in 5 games for James Stewart, and the first rushing touchdown allowed by the Panthers defense this season. 59-yard drive for the Jaguars, and they take the early lead.
During a surprise inspection of your barracks this afternoon, I found this. I want the soldier who belongs to this spear to step forward. Now, what's the matter? Do you miss your precious Rocky Mountains? Dipping your tootsies into an ice-cold Rocky Mountain stream, fraternizing with some snow bunny? Do you, Kowalski? I want to know whose beer this is right now.
It's my beer, Sergeant.
You put this beer here?
I certainly did, and I checked on it.
I wasn't gonna take it, sir.
I'll bet.
No, really, look, it's still cold.
You're right. Now, what'd you do with my pretzels?
Well, don't just stand there. Find the General's pretzels.
You will be called private, specialist, or sergeant. Beneath the ribbons on your chest will be the souls of those who came before. You will be an individual, but triumph as a team. You will know strength, courage, and compassion. You will win what must be won, achieve what must be done. Be all that you can be. You will be a soldier.
You've been waiting all summer for the season premiere of The X-Files. This Friday, the wait is over. The X-Files season premiere, Friday.
Back in Jacksonville, James Stewart, who gained only 5 yards on 9 carries in the loss to New England last week, with the early touchdown, the 59-yard drive as the Jaguars have taken the lead.
Well, Stewart's running hard today. You can see that. Sometimes a player has their best game after they have their worst game the week before.
Here's Hollis, putting it downfield. Taken at the 11 by Michael Bates. Still on his feet. And he is finally upended after a 19-yard return. Panthers back to the offense when we return.
What's the difference between noise and sound? Noise is what the Dodge Stratus engineers did away with, using high-tech insulation, multiple door seals, vibration-defeating suspension. And sound? Those are the pleasing frequencies they left. The exhaust note, for instance, was tuned by a musician, and it goes something like this. Dodge Stratus. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you and get $500 cash savings on Stratus.
Uh-oh. Kaboom.
Would you like to dance?
What? You believe this?
Except that I'm gonna show you.
Nice pants.
Dockers Stonewash khakis.
Take a stroll down memory lane at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
You crushed my knee, was your toes. You broke my ribs, it was your nose. Ah, yes. I remember it well. You sacked me once.
I sacked you twice.
In pouring rain.
No, it was nice.
Ah, yes.
But when you go, don't forget your Visa card, because the Hall takes the NFL's best, but not American Express.
See ya, Nitschke.
It's buckets.
Ah, yeah.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
From John Woo, the director of Broken Arrow, comes the world premiere movie, Watson Beat, tonight at 8, 7 Central.
Jaguars leading the Panthers by the score of 7-0, and special teams have played a huge role in the success and failures of both these squads so far this year. In fact, Jacksonville's opponents have started on average close to the 33-yard line. That's worse than the AFC, but they have held the Panthers on their first two possessions. They have started on the 22 and now the 28. Short drop by Burline. The pass was tipped at the line.
Eddie Robinson, another free agent linebacker for the Jaguars, got his hand on it again. So all of a sudden, Eddie Robinson is stepping up and playing a heck of a game. I mean, he got the pressure on Burline before. This time he knocks off that pass by getting his hands up. And the Jaguars coming into this game knew that Steve Burline wanted to throw those quick passes. And that's one of the ways you defend them. You press the receivers and you get your hands up on the line immediately.
Burline 0 for his first 3 after the tremendous start last week, 15 of his first 16 against the 49ers. Bianca Batuka to the outside, up to the 37-yard line, a gain of 8 on 2nd and long. Tim, Wednesday night, it's game 2 of the American League Division Series as the Texas Rangers face the New York Yankees. Then on Thursday, game 2 in the National League as the Atlanta Braves continue their quest to repeat as world champions. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Well, the thing you have to remember about that Texas-Yankees game is the Rangers, this is the first time they've been in the playoffs, but they have dominated the Yankees in Texas.
And that gets underway Tuesday, and then Wednesday here on Fox, we'll have game 2 for you between the Yankees and the Rangers. There's the first completion for Burline, and a first down to Muhammad. Muhsin Muhammad, second-round draft pick out of Michigan State, who has been a tremendous surprise for the Panthers over the first 3 weeks.
And this is what you do with a big, young, physical wide receiver. You send him right into the traffic, right into the middle of the defense, and you know that he's not going to be distracted. He's going to concentrate, catch that ball. With a big body like this, you don't worry about catching the ball in traffic.
And there's Willie Green, who suffered a hip and back injury last week as that ball is nearly picked off by Kevin Hardy, the first-round draft pick out of Illinois. But getting back to the receiver situation, Green injured, so Muhammad seeing the bulk of the playing time here today.
Yeah, and that was a painful drop for Hardy. Talking about a receiver, I mean, he's not a receiver, he's a linebacker, but this is one that haunts you. He'll be thinking about this tonight after the game, whether they win or lose. The poor pass by Steve Burline puts it right into Hardy's hands. Look at that. I mean, that's pain, man. That's where you throw yourself down and hit the turf.
Second down and 10. Nowhere to go. Howard Griffith, the fullback, was met by Kelvin Pritchett.
Inside is not the area you want to attack against the Jacksonville defense, because what you've got here is Kelvin Pritchett and John Yurkovich. Behind them is Tom McManus. Now McManus is replacing Schwartz. Look at the work there out by the inside guys. Pritchett plays off his block, gets on the running back, and then there's McManus to lead right up the middle. He's strong on the inside. The Panthers need to take that ball outside.
Opening everywhere.
Frosted Cheerios.
Got the Papa Pack. So sweet and crunchy, this box never closes.
And they're all mine. All mine.
Kids today think it's far out and groovy.
Those wholesome little O's have been frosted the whole way around for a crunchy, sweet taste everyone's into.
Hey, they're frosted.
Hey, we're Clay. Frosted Cheerios taste so good, this box never closes.
I've got to have more milk.
It's about time. And finding faster ways to take new ideas from drawing board to reality. It's about the search for methods to make machinery last longer. Or make a long drive seem shorter. It's about making time to look beyond the obvious. And most of all, about taking time to listen. All things change through time. Cars, trucks, and a company.
Just hanging out this weekend? Why not go where the action is?
We're going to turn you into a giant cupcake.
Big deal, tonight at 7, 6 Central.
Kenny Albert, Tim Green back in Jacksonville, where the Jaguars are out to the early lead, 7-0 midway through quarter number 1. Clyde Simmons shaken up, replaced by Tony Brackens for 3rd down and 9. Burline firing, and it's incomplete. So the Panthers will be forced to punt. The intended receiver, the rookie out of New Mexico, Winslow Oliver, Dave Thomas on the coverage.
Steve Burline needs to know where his critical receiver is. And when you're in a 3rd and long situation and the opponent, Jacksonville, sets up in the kind of coverage they set up in, you want to go to Wesley Walls. Now, Walls has been outstanding for them this season. So when you're in a clutch situation, you want to throw to a clutch receiver who, by the way, was down far enough to pick up the 1st down.
Burline only 1 for 6 as Ron Stark punts for the 2nd time today. And this is Chris Hudson from the 7. Out across the 15, still on his feet. He broke 3 tackles. And he has finally chased down. A flag on the play. Dwight Stone and Michael Bates on the stop. 47-yard punt. And then a 25-yard return by Hudson.
All of a sudden, we've got a Jacksonville team that's playing inspired football. And if the Carolina Panthers allow them to continue to roll, it's going to be a long, hot day for Carolina.
1st down.
Well, some audio problems. Referee Gary Lane. Let's take another look.
Yeah, I mean, this is an outstanding run. And this right here, Chris Hudson shows you the determination that this Jacksonville team has coming into this game. Because he breaks a tackle there, he breaks a tackle there, he bounces off there, breaks another tackle. So he breaks 4 tackles and then turns it on. And somewhere there's a block. There it is, right behind the back. It was Dave Thomas, number 41, the cornerback, who sent him back. Here's the hit, right there, right from the side. Well, I'll tell you what, man, that was a heck of a hit, though. If you're going to get a penalty, you might as well get it for that, because he just knocked the guy out.
So now Brunell on 1st down. Play action. Looking downfield, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Andre Rison, your former teammate, Tim, with the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, one thing you can do with Andre Rison is you can just put the ball up. because he has great field awareness. And that's what Brunell does on this play. He just puts this ball up because he's got pressure in his face. But he says, all right, Rison is going against a young player, Tyrone Poole. Now watch, look at what Rison does. Look at that. He puts his hand on Poole's back. He almost gets that pass using crafty and, I might say, illegal techniques. He's not allowed to put his hand on Poole's back. But Rison will get open any way he can.
So now on 2nd and 10, James Stewart is met by Lamar Lathan and Sam Mills after the 1-yard gain. Lathan off to a terrific start, 6 sacks over the first 3 games, and he and Kevin Green, the outside linebackers, have nicknamed themselves Salt and Pepper.
Well, I tell you, anything Kevin Green's involved in, nothing would surprise me. I mean, any guy who's out there in the offseason wrestling against Ric Flair in the WCW, you just got to expect anything coming from him.
So now 5 wide receivers on 3rd and 9. Brunell from the shotgun. Short pass. It's complete for the first down. Jimmy Smith out to the 45-yard line. Gain of 12. And right now for a McDonald's game break, James Brown at our Fox Television Center.
Okay, take a look at this. Trent Dilfer helping out the lines. 3rd and goal from the 4. Drills it right to Benny Blades. Blades takes off. Now give Dilfer a little credit. Good hustle, but watch this weak effort at a tackle. Blades 98 yards to pay dirt. 7-0 Lions. Back to Jacksonville. Kenny Albert and Tim Green.
Wow, that's a poor you know what? That'll kill Trent Dilfer in the locker room because his teammates are going to say, man, you got to make that tackle. If you're going to throw that pick, it's bad enough.
Nice catch, Jimmy Smith down the sidelines inside the Carolina 30. Beautiful spin move by Smith as he made the catch, and he gains 26 yards.
What Jimmy Smith is he's using the threat of his speed against Tyrone Poole. He did it on the last play. He does it on this play. He gets Tyrone Poole thinking he's running downfield. He's a fast guy. He pulls up, and Brunell delivers the ball marvelously.
Mark Brunell, 5 of 6, 77 yards, as he has certainly outperformed Steve Berline here in the first quarter.
Yeah, he's hot. Berline was hot last week. Brunell's the hot guy this week.
And this is Natron Means, the former San Diego Charger Pro Bowler. His first carry of today's game. He did not carry the ball last week, coming off a thumb injury.
Yeah, I don't know how they can give him the ball with much confidence, and he'll come off now because look at the cast he's got on his right hand. It's a dangerous thing to put the ball in a guy's hands, especially on that play. Means ran to the right, because when you run to the right, you want the ball in your right hand. But if you noticed on that last play, he had to put it in his left hand because of the cast on his right. So you're limited with Means in there. You can only safely run him to the left.
I got you.
Means out of the University of North Carolina. Here's Brunell on 2nd down, incomplete. Once again, he was looking for Jimmy Smith.
I think Brunell thought he had something good going with Jimmy Smith, and he did, but now he doesn't, because that's a catch that Smith really needed to make.
Perhaps Smith heard footsteps. Took a hard hit.
Yeah, I mean, that'll do it. We talked about how Musa Muhammad is a guy who you can just put into traffic, and right now Smith is looking like a guy that you don't want to put into traffic because the 2 big catches he had, there was no one around.
3rd down and 7, 3 wide receivers. Brunell under pressure, takes off, has the first down inside the 15-yard line. Mark Brunell, as we mentioned earlier, led all NFL quarterbacks in rushing a year ago, and so far today here in this first quarter, 2 carries, 30 yards.
Dom Capers told us yesterday the scariest thing about Brunell is his scrambling ability. Again, a Steve Young-like guy. Now, there's good coverage, so he's got no receiver, but on 3rd and long, when the quarterback can pull the ball down and use his speed and his running abilities to pick up a 3rd down, it breaks the back of a defense. A defense gets very disheartened when that happens.
First down on the Panthers, 13. This is Natron Means down to the 10, a gain of 3 yards. Means, born in Harrisburg, North Carolina, set a Chargers team record 2 years ago with 1,350 yards, but he was released. There were some questions about his work ethic out in San Diego.
Yeah, well, hey, he's going to work now. I mean, he's got a messed up thumb with a cast on it, and he's still out there doing everything that he can. The nice thing that the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing is mixing up their plays. Last week they came out, they tried to beat the Patriots by setting up with 2 backs, tight ends, and just slogging it out in the run. It didn't work. Now we're seeing a lot of different looks and a lot of different plays from Jacksonville today.
And once again, this is Means. Look to cut inside. Good second effort, and then he is forced back.
See, but that's dangerous. I mean, if we can see it again, you see what Means has to do with the ball, and if he looks a little hesitant, if he looks a little awkward, it's because he's carrying it in the wrong hand. He's running to the right and carrying the ball in his left, and it's a hard thing to do. You're never going to have a big breaking run when you've got the ball in the wrong hand because it messes with your head, and you can't just flow with the game, flow with the run, and break a big one.
And now James Stewart has checked back in, replacing Means in the Jaguars' backfield on 3rd down and 5. 3 wide receivers. Brunell, short trap to the end zone. Touchdown, Jimmy Smith.
Wow. Can Mark Brunell play much better than this? You can't do it better. You can't throw that ball any better than Brunell throws it on this one. And it's a nice job of Jimmy Smith separating himself from Eric Davis. Davis is running with him. Now stop it right there. If we could stop it, I mean, if we could see it again, there's just no way that you can defend against that pass. Yeah, Brunell, he knows it. He's looking up to the sky. I mean, there's some kind of divine intervention going on down here.
That is touchdown number 3 this season for Jimmy Smith. Here is Mike Hollis, 2nd season out of Idaho. The holder is Brian Parker. And the Jaguars' lead over the Panthers is now 14-0. Unfamiliar territory for the Carolina Panthers as they scored on their first 3 possessions a week ago and led San Francisco 17-0, but here they trail by 2 touchdowns.
Well, one thing you know about a Dom Capers team, they are not likely to waver. Even though they've not been in this situation, Dom Capers is 3-0 right now because he's about as steady a guy as you can imagine. And what he does is he doesn't change the way he does things. He believes in his program, he believes in his play calling, his game plan, and he believes in his team. And he is not a guy who'll get flustered and panic.
Mark Brunell with his 8th touchdown pass this season, behind only Brett Favre, who Brunell backed up for 2 seasons with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty strong. And then what happens is when you jump out to this kind of a lead and Brunell is as hot as he is right now and running on 3rd down to pick up 1st downs, throwing a beautiful touchdown pass the way he did, what happens is it opens up your run game. So that's what Tom Coughlin loves. He wants to get that ball running. He wants that offensive line working, and then you can wear down the defense. In this heat, if you can start running the ball, you're going to wear the defense down and make them get some IVs at halftime.
And while the Panthers led the 49ers 17-0 last week, the Jaguars fell behind New England 22-0. So the roles reversed. Here this afternoon, Michael Bates across the 30, across the 40-yard line. Terrific return, 41 yards. So the Panthers will start out in excellent field position. He was finally taken down by North Carolina native Randy Jordan. Tim, next week on Fox NFL Sunday, Kevin Green and the Panthers will battle Chris Carter and the Vikings in a battle between 2 of the NFL's undefeated teams at the moment, plus other exciting regional action. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, so check local listings. The NFL on Fox. And it's the Jaguars 14, the Panthers nothing. Tumunga Biakabatuka. Pick up of about 2 yards on 1st down. What an interesting story Biakabatuka is. We spoke to him last night, born in Zaire, moved to Montreal at age 6. His parents saw him play in the NFL for the first time last week down in Charlotte.
What a nice, impressive guy. And the word that comes out of Biakabatuka's mouth more than anything is focus. He's always talking about his focus. You know, he loves being in the NFL because you can get any bed that you want. He went furniture shopping. They said, no, you can't have that bed. We're all out. 2 days later, they delivered it. He said, hey, you get any bed you want when you're a star in the NFL.
The perks of the National Football League. And here is Mark Carrier. He fumbles. The Jaguars say they have it, and they do.
Yeah, but there's a flag, Kenny.
Burline took a hit, and a flag was thrown in the offensive backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 92 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Wow. That's a tough turnaround. That's Don Davey, the former Green Bay Packer. He's going to come up through the middle of the formation. He's working with his old partner, John Yurkovich. Now, you know what they got him for? They got him for that right there. They got him for coming down on top of Brunell, of Burline, with his weight. And look at this. This is what penalties can do to you. Look at all these teams. Atlanta 0-3, Seattle 1-3. When you're at the bottom, a lot of times it's this right here, because not only does it set you back in yardage, it tells other teams, or it tells the viewer, that these teams are playing undisciplined football. They're making critical mistakes at critical times.
And as we mentioned last week, 17 Jaguar penalties. Yet they did force overtime with the New England Patriots before losing by a field goal. Jaguars won their opening week game against the Pittsburgh Steelers 24-9. They dominated the Steelers, and they have lost 3 close games since then to Houston, Oakland, and New England.
Here's Mark Carrier now. He got hurt. He's still out there on the field. So let's take a look and see what happens to him. Can't be sure of it there, but he went down and stayed down. And then, of course, the fumble recovered by Jacksonville, coming back because of Don Davies' penalty, roughing the passer. I'll tell you what, though, I can empathize with Don Davies, because you, as a defensive lineman, as a former defensive lineman, I know that you don't get to the quarterback all that much. And when you get to the quarterback, first of all, you want to hit him. And second of all, you want to put your weight on him. You want to wear him down. You want to jar his bones and the cartilage between his ribs, and you want to do everything you can to slow him down. It's in your mentality. It's your mindset. It's in the defensive lineman's mentality, and no penalties, no rules are ever going to change that.
So following the penalty, 1st and 10 on the Jaguars 44. Flags on the play. Movement on the line as the catch is made by the tight end, Wesley Wall.
They're going to flag him again. I'll tell you what, though. They're just pounding Steve Burline. I mean, this defense is pounding Burline. And they're going to get another roughing call. Burline's saying, what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. This defense is playing some vicious football. You know, when you got a 14-point lead, sometimes you can do that.
Defense, that penalty's declined. Personal foul, blow to the head on the quarterback, number 50 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Eddie Robinson. We've seen him make some big plays today already, so he's fired up. I mean, when you start making big plays, the coal goes in the furnace. You get stoked up, you get fired up. So there's the offsides. Davies the guy offsides, 2 mistakes in a row. Here's Robinson on the outside. He comes around. No, it's not Robinson who does it. They called it on Robinson, but it was somebody else. It was another linebacker. And I don't know exactly which one it was.
And the officials huddling.
The 15-yard penalty will be added on to the
I'm sorry, it was Robinson.
First down.
It was Robinson. I saw 90 was Brackens on the outside. Robinson came up through the middle.
And the 15 yards will be added on, so a 25-yard gain, 10 on the pass to Walls, and then 15 with the penalty.
Yeah, watch him. He's going to come right up through the middle of the formation. There he is. He's blitzing, and he puts helmet to helmet. And that's it. I mean, there's no question there. I got to tell you, that's one of those deals where you're going to get fined $10,000, $15,000. That's going to be a big one for Eddie Robinson. But you know what you can't let it do? You can't let it slow you down. I mean, he's got to continue to play aggressively and strong. You can't let a penalty like that set you back.
From the Jaguars, 19, Bianca Batuka battles his way ahead for a gain of about 2 yards. That hit by Robinson on Burline similar to the hit Troy Aikman took 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brutal hit. And once again, you're coming through, you want to hit the quarterback. And look, I'm going to tell you, as a former defensive player, there's no way you can say, okay, in that split second, now I'm going to pull, now I'm not going to hit him, because he's not intending. He didn't put his head down in his helmet. And there, Biaka Batuka looks like he's hurt. That's bad news. Now when he...
Berline repositioning the wide receivers on second down. He's hit again. And he fumbled. Jaguars have recovered.
Tony Bracken's first-round draft choice. Welcome to the NFL. That's a big-time play.
Bracken's in the game only because both Jeff Lageman and Clyde Simmons are out with injury.
Now he stifles a drive, and that's what I said they had to do. They can't let those penalties affect him. Watch him coming. He's racing around the outside. He's working on Mark Dennis, and he's been beating him. He beats him right off the ball, races around. Now look at this, big-time play. Puts his head down, jars the ball loose, and now watch the presence of mind. Yeah, now he gets the fumble himself. So he gets a sack, he gets a forced fumble, and he gets a fumble recovery all in one play. That's nice. That's nice, and that's aggressive defense where you just refuse to stop being aggressive despite the penalties of your teammates.
First NFL sack, and Brackens forces the turnover. James Stewart bottled up, and that will do it for the first quarter of play from Jacksonville, where the Jaguars have taken a 14-0 lead over the Panthers in the first ever meeting of the 1995 expansion clubs in the National Football League.
If you think stress is tough on you, consider your engine. Traffic jams, towing and hauling, even idling can lead to damaging wear. That's why Castrol is introducing Syntec Blend, the only synthetic blend that combines Castrol conventional oil and Syntec molecular components for greater protection than conventional oil in severe driving conditions, because too much stress can be fatal. Castrol Syntec Blend, added protection for severe driving conditions.
Bold, tastefully done. Critics are raving about 3 the grown-up way. From Mickey D's, producer of the critically acclaimed Arch Deluxe, comes 3 new deluxe sandwiches.
Crispy Chicken Deluxe.
Grilled Chicken Deluxe. Fish Filet Deluxe.
And that's an order.
Yes, sir.
Mature taste love toppings like whole leaves of lettuce, juicy tomato, tasty sauces, and a fish fillet that's 50% bigger.
You're going down.
3 the grown-up way. An exciting new part of McDonald's lineup.
I'm going in. Going in with you.
Hello from Plank Road, where Paul and the guys are enjoying home movies of their summer outing at the lake to demonstrate a point for us. This is watered down. Go! Heatherhurt, this is not. Ice House. It's ice brewed, so there's never any watered down taste, just more of what you want in a beer. So remember, there's watered down, yikes, and not watered down. Thanks, and enjoy.
Welcome back to Jacksonville. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. Tim, last year the Jaguars selected Steve Berline in the expansion draft. They traded for Mark Brunell, and now, of course, Berline with the Panthers, and at least through the first quarter, advantage today to Brunell.
Yeah, I mean, Berline had a hot game last week, but now it's Mark Brunell. 83 yards in the air compared to Berline, only got about 7. And then the Jaguars' defense is hot. I mean, they're on fire. They're playing aggressive. And the whole thing is working for Jacksonville. Also, there's a hot field. So there's a lot of hot things out there. Don't forget the hot field. If the Jaguars keep moving the ball, that Carolina defense is going to wear down in those black jerseys.
Here's Brunell to the air, and the catch is made. A nice grab by the tight end, Rich Griffith.
Wow, Brunell took a hit. Brunell, man, that's tough. Here, look at this. This is what we're talking about. Total yards right here, 135-25. But look through the air. I mean, Berline 7, Brunell 83. That's strong. And then here's the time. You see that? 9:45 to 5:15. So the Panthers' defense has been out on the field twice as long as the Jacksonville defense. And they're in the wrong. Look at that. Look at that right there. I mean, that you could cook something on that. You could cook an egg. And what happens is those black jerseys, and they just absorb the heat, and it's like you're in a little pressure cooker. Each player's in a little pressure cooker.
On 3rd and 2, Stewart is upended shy of the first down. Right now for a McDonald's game break, James Brown at our Fox Television Center.
Kenny, this is from Terry Bradshaw. David Palmer, the ex-Tide player, rolls on this punt return. 69 yards to pay dirt. Vikings on top, 7-3. Back to Kenny Albert and Tim Green.
David Palmer with a 69-yard run.
Yes, 69 yards on the punt return.
In the background. How come he was celebrating there?
Alabama, from Alabama, from the South, the deep South.
Offense, number 41, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Terry with the personal sound effects back in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, you got to love Terry's sound effects. And, you know, it's an amazing thing about the NFL. Terry Bradshaw, of course, the great quarterback with the Steelers, Super Bowl, MVP, the whole 9 yards. But he still loves Alabama, and he still loves every player who ever played and is playing for Alabama. And that's what football's all about. I mean, when you come up through a college or a team, you make friendships and associations that really last for your entire life.
Here's the first punt of the afternoon by Brian Barker, played by Winslow Oliver. Oliver out across the 35. So the Panthers will start in terrific field position, 52 yards on the punt, 22-yard return by Oliver. Back in a moment from Jacksonville.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Nissan, who reminds you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. By Starter, no one's closer to the game. By Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. And by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
Kenny Albert, Tim Green back in Jacksonville, and a big blow for the Panthers, who already trail 14-0. Tamunga Bianca Batuka, sprained knee, will not return. So Anthony Johnson now in the backfield, and he takes the handoff from Burline and is met and taken down by Eddie Robinson. Well, next week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's favorite pregame show as JB, Terry, Howie, and Ronnie discuss which quarterbacks are now the best and the worst in the NFL. As Brett Favre surpassed Steve Young and Troy Aikman as the QB king of the NFL. Find out next Sunday. Don't miss Fox NFL Sunday. Second down and 10. Burline to the air, and he overthrows Muhammad. Coverage on the play from Mickey Washington.
Well, that was the plan for Jacksonville coming into this game. Once again, to disrupt that short passing game or that quick passing game that Steve Burline operated so effectively last week against the San Francisco 49ers. Part of that is having their cornerbacks, the Jacksonville cornerbacks, Mickey Washington and Dave Thomas, right up on top of the receivers. There's Dick Turon, the defensive coordinator for the Jaguars. He wants those guys right up, press them, don't let them get off the ball, disrupt their timing.
3 wide receivers on third down and 10. Burline firing downfield. Mark Carrier makes the catch at the 31-yard line of the Jaguars. Well, Steve Burline told us last night that he calls Mark Carrier Mr. Reliable, and he is reliable right there for a gain of 27.
Mark Carrier is like an old friend to Steve Burline because he knows when he needs him, he'll always be there. Now, what happens is the Jaguars have 2 deep guys in the zone, and what you want to do is when you've got a 2 deep coverage like this, you want to run a guy to the inside because there's not a safety. The safety's got to come all the way from the other side of the field to make the play on the inside pass.
Burline pump fakes on first down, under pressure, he escapes, and now fires down the sideline to Muhammad, and he is wrestled down close to the 13-yard line, but a gain of 14 for Hussein Muhammad.
Yeah, Steve Burline limping around a little bit. He's taken a beating out there that we've seen on the last series. You have to admire his courage for coming back and looking like Mark Brunell. I mean, he pulled a page out of Brunell's playbook because here he is. He gets the pressure and he starts to scramble, and that's what Brunell's been doing all game. And then finds his receiver, and makes the toss. And there, I mean, looked like he pulled something when he threw it.
And Burline to Carrier once again. He is stopped just short, just shy of the goal line. Forced out by Eddie Robinson, a gain of 15. So Berline is now 4 of his last 5 after starting 1 for 6.
Well, that's crafty work by Mark Carrier. And what Carrier does better than any other Carolina receiver is he finds a soft spot in the zone. There it is right there. Look at that. There's cover guys all around. He knows where to stop. And that's what he does better than any. He stops. He starts a pattern. When he sees an opening, he'll stop in it. Berline finds it.
Johnson fumbled the football, and the Jaguars say they have it.
That's
Anthony
brutal.
Johnson replacing Bianca Batuka could not hold on to the handoff, and once again it is Tony Brackens on the recovery.
That's a big, big day for that rookie. Now he's got 2 of them to take home. One before, this one here. You're going to watch the handoff. It's just a fumble on the exchange. Berline puts it right into Johnson's stomach, and Johnson just muffs it. It's just a flat muff, and all of a sudden, not only do the Panthers not have their run game that they'd have with Bianca Batuka, but they don't have their goal line attack.
Johnson fumbles on the 1. Kenny Albert, Tim Green from Jacksonville, where the Jaguars lead the Panthers 14-0, and they have gotten the job done defensively as well, forcing 2 Carolina turnovers.
Right, and they stopped 2 critical drives because Carolina was driving in both cases and looking to score at least a field goal, if not a touchdown.
Yes, in this last instance, on 1st and goal from the 1, and that is batted at the line of scrimmage. Mike Fox, 6'8", got the hand up.
Yeah, nice play by Mike Fox. Let's look at the key plays. And behind both of them are the 2nd-round draft choice rookie, Tony Brackens. First on this sack. Watch him come from the top of the screen, 90. The sack, the strip, and then he recovers the fumble himself. So he's got 1 for the mantle at home. And then this next play where Johnson fumbles the exchange. And then look at Brackens again. He's in there, and he's got 2 for the mantle. So he's got a full mantle after this game.
1 more for the hat trick as Natron Means is bottled up after the short gain.
Yeah, now here is where the Carolina defense wants to do something exotic, because Dom Capers saves some special new looks for critical situations, and it doesn't get any more critical than this. I mean, his offense was driving twice, turned around by the key plays with Tony Brackens, and now they need a big play. The Carolina defense needs to get pressure on Brunell immediately.
Jaguars with 5 receivers. 3rd down and 8. Here's Brunell back in the end zone, and the pass is complete. A 1st down. Willie Jackson with a couple of nice moves, leading receiver for the Jaguars a year ago, and a gain of 14 for the 1st down, finally stopped by Tyrone Poole.
We have got to credit this Jacksonville offensive line. Now, you have to remember this. Carolina's pass rush has been devastating for most teams this season. But know this, Jacksonville already played the Pittsburgh Steelers in Game 1. Dominated the Steelers, a 3-4 zone blitzing defense, so they had actually 2 weeks to prepare for Carolina's tricks.
Natron Means out to the 25. Not only did they beat the Steelers and the zone blitz this season, but they also defeated Pittsburgh a year ago during the Steelers' run to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so the 3-4 zone blitz is not an intimidating factor for the Jacksonville offense because they feel like they can block it. They've got Leon Searcy, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, who knows it. He knows what it looks like because it was on his team. He knows the strengths. He knows the weaknesses. He knows Kevin Green because he played against him. And so far, Searcy's won that battle.
On 2nd and 4, Natron Means once again has the 1st down for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, Tim, Wednesday it's Game 2 of the American League Division Series as the Texas Rangers battle the New York Yankees. Then on Thursday, Game 2 of the National League as the Atlanta Braves continue their quest to repeat as world champions. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific.
And of course, the Braves are going to face either San Diego or Los Angeles, whoever wins today.
Yes, whoever wins that game,
whoever loses that
game will face the Braves.
And the Braves are probably going to be tough. I mean, they're probably going to win it all again.
Yep, the Cardinals get the winner. And here's Brunell across midfield. Keenan McCardell. It's off to the races, and he is finally taken down inside the Panthers 20 by Tyrone Poole. 50-yard pass play from Brunell to McCardell.
McCardell runs an outstanding pattern. It's going to be up and in to the inside of the defense. We saw Carolina doing this earlier. Again, he's working Tyrone Poole. Tyrone Poole's having a rough day because McCardell gets the separation that he needs for this big play. And Brunell can't go wrong. I mean, Brunell's finding receivers all over the field. The only guy he has not found is Andre Rison, who's a big playmaker, but undisciplined in his pass routes.
Longest reception for McCardell this season. Antron Means to the inside. You know, Mark Brunell told us yesterday he calls the Jaguar offense a melting pot offense with so many varieties and things taken from different clubs around the league. And you said it, I mean, he's gone to Smith today. He's gone to McCardell, Jackson, the tight ends, and then the combination of Stewart and Means.
Yeah, but, you know, I talked to Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, and he said, you know, we have shown some tendency. We've done a lot of different things. What I'm going to do tomorrow is, and there's Gilbride behind him there, what I'm going to do tomorrow is mix things up. I'm going to run when it looks like we're going to pass. I'm going to pass when before it's looked like we were going to run, and it's all working.
This time the Jaguars look to pass.
Fumble.
Yes, Brunell fumbled.
That's Carolina's ball.
It is recovered by Lathan. Lamar Lathan comes up with the fumble recovery. And now the Panthers defense forcing a Jacksonville turnover.
I'm not sure exactly who got that. It might have been Les Miller. No, it's Cragen. Look at Cragen. I mean, the nose guard, former Denver guy, comes in, and that's picture perfect because when you tackle the quarterback, you want to slap your hands down, knock that ball loose, get the turnover, and reverse the momentum of the game.
Can't believe he broke it at the company picnic.
Incredible. Our employee health plan covers him, right?
Not deductibles or co-payments.
So he has to lay out his own money.
Your health plan can work better with Aflac. Supplemental insurance from Aflac helps cover the unexpected costs of recovery so you can give your employees the protection they need and deserve.
Any ideas?
Yeah, Aflac.
Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
Dallas Cowboy Charles Haley has had to pay quite a price to get to the Super Bowl. But thanks to 7-Eleven, you might only have to pay the price of a coffee mug. Now when you buy fresh ground, fresh brewed 7-Eleven coffee in your favorite team mug, you could win tickets to the Super Bowl from Hershey's. You'll even get $1 off a haircut at Supercuts. The NFL Thermal Mug Instant Win Game from 7-Eleven.
New Honey Nut Cheerios, and they're all for me.
New Honey Nut Cheerios has an even better taste and a bigger crunch.
Nobody can say no to the Honey Nut O's and New Honey Nut Cheerios.
It's new.
Everybody loves this stuff.
When you steal for a living, your first priority is staying alive. John Woo's Once a Thief world premiere tonight on Fox.
On Fox NFL Sunday, one of the best rivalries in all of football explodes onto the gridiron as the Packers battle the Bears. Or Rice and the Niners take on the St. Louis Rams. Fox NFL Sunday next week.
Watch the mix-up between the center and the guard of Jacksonville. They let Cragen through. Dave Woodell, the center, passes him off. Cragen comes through, gets the ball back for Carolina.
They're following the turnover. It's the Panthers to the offense once again. Flag on the play as Carolina goes right back to Anthony Johnson, who fumbled the handoff down on the 1-yard line on the Panthers' last possession. They don't have much choice. Bianca Batuka out for the game, and
well, I think they have a choice. They've got to go to the air, because I know you want to get Anthony Johnson back in the game after that fumble, but you've got to go to the air. You've got to get to Wesley Walls.
Hands to the face, number 25 on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Another penalty. That makes a coach hot. But Mickey Washington told us yesterday he was going to be physical with those receivers, and sometimes this is what happens. It's right here. Let's watch Mickey Washington work on the wide receiver. He gets his hands up in the face, and they call it.
So a first down on the 25-yard line. Play action as Wasim Muhammad has another Panther first down to the 38. Gain of 13. And our Aflac trivia question today, Tim. Who was the only NFL expansion team to win their inaugural game? And we know the Panthers started 0-5 last year.
Well, now don't start giving it away now. Not everybody knows.
Well, there's a whole bunch of expansion teams through the years. And this, of course, the first meeting between Carolina and Jacksonville, who last year combined for 11 wins, the most ever by two expansion teams combined in their first NFL season. Panthers were 7-9, the Jaguars 4-12. On the delay, out across the 45 to the 47 is Johnson, who spent 4 years with the Colts, and he picks up 8 on first down. Well, Tim, the answer to our Aflac trivia question, the Minnesota Vikings beat the Chicago Bears 37-13 in 1961 in their inaugural game. So the Minnesota Vikings, the only NFL expansion team to win their first ever NFL game. Johnson close to the first down as the Panthers keep it on the ground. Just over 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Steve Berline has completed his last 4 passes after the slow start. He was the first pick in the expansion draft last year by the Jaguars. They had not yet made the trade for Brunell, so at that point, Berline thought he would be the guy. He did start 6 games, but then the Jaguars became Mark Brunell's team, and Berline said, I have no problem with their decision. It was disappointing, but Brunell is the better man, the younger man for their situation. Berline in trouble, and he is taken down once again.
That's John Yurkovich. You don't get many from Yurko. You don't get too many sacks. He's a mauler on the inside. He's so tired from chasing the quarterback, he's saying, come on, somebody's got to come in here and give me a break. He's not used to sacking the quarterback. Watch him work here. He comes right up through the middle, and he almost misses Berline. He nicks him, but Berline stumbles and falls. He's working against the guard, blows past him right there. He gets his hands on him. Oh, you know what? Yurkovich might not even get that because Smengi was down at Berline's leg, so that's a tough one.
Yes, both.
You always root for Yurkovich to get a sack.
Both in the vicinity. I'll have to check the films on that one.
He'll fight for it.
Oh, and Berline has it knocked loose.
Brackens again. This is a rookie who not only came to play, he turned himself into an impact player. Tony Brackens has gone from a rookie to an impact player in one game. And the Panthers offense better take account of him. Watch him working here. He's working against Mark Dennis, and Mark Dennis has not been able to stop him all game long. He's racing around to the outside, and that's a fumble, too. It's a good thing Garcia gets on it. He's no longer a rookie. Brackens is an impact player. Big plays today, 2 fumbles, 2 sacks.
Only 21 years of age. 3rd and 29. Berline dumps it off. Winslow Oliver flag on the play out near midfield as Oliver scampers up to the 44. 14-yard gain, but a flag was thrown. Jaguars have already committed 5 penalties today. The Panthers have not been called for any as of yet.
Dom Capers is going to have to adjust his offense and account for Tony Brackens. They're going to have to start putting 2 on him, or at least chipping him with a back and giving Mark Dennis help around the outside edge.
The officials still in discussion. Here's referee Gary Lane.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the bench, interference with the back judge, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
Wow. You know, while Carolina is trying to lose this game with turnovers, the Jacksonville Jaguars are building their own coffin with penalties.
Wow, so interference with the back judge. Our back judge today is Duke Carroll. Haven't heard that one, Tim. Interference with the back judge. So that will give the Panthers a first down.
Well, what happens is there's a line, there's a white area on the sideline, and players are told to stay out of it. You see this area right here? Right here. This zone right here, players and coaches are supposed to be out of that area. And what happens is, see, guys will start sneaking up, and the back judge will say, hey, look, you got to stop doing that. He'll tell him a couple times. He won't just throw the flag. So somebody just wasn't paying attention to him. And he said, all right, enough's enough. I got to call the game from back here. I'm going to throw a flag. So somebody was just being absolutely stupid on the Jacksonville team. And look at what penalties have done. I told you, they're building their own coffin with penalties.
And 4 of those penalties have led to first downs, and now another first down. Mark Carrier in Jaguar territory at the 33-yard line. Gain of 22 yards on the play. So with under 3 minutes to go this first half, Steve Berline and the Panthers picking up the yardage via the air down to the 32 of the Jaguars.
Both teams, Coughlin's team building a coffin with penalties. Carolina building one with turnovers. And they got to stop. Carolina can stop a lot of the turnovers by accounting for Tony Brackens. Jacksonville's just got to smarten up.
Quick drop and the pass deflected at the line. So it will be a 2nd down and 10 for the Panthers. Coming up next here on Fox, the second half of our doubleheader with the San Francisco 49ers and Atlanta Falcons. Elvis Grbac and Bobby Hebert in relief of Steve Young and Jeff George.
Yeah, I mean, how about that great piece Terry Bradshaw did with Jeff George and June Jones from the Atlanta Falcons? Really just kind of pulling back the floorboard, showing us all what's going on down there and the mess that the Falcons are in.
On the delay, not much. Now, what I could not understand, Tim, how did Jeff George and June Jones keep changing seats? You know, Terry would ask June a question and then Jeff. I guess it was the magic of video, right?
Oh, it was the magic of Terry Bradshaw. I mean, he's still got that quickness.
A little confusing as he would ask Jeff a question and then June.
It was a nice interview, though. You know what I'm saying, Kenny? I mean, he really got down underneath the floorboards and just showed us what's going on there.
And then he was intimidated later in the pregame show by Kevin Green.
Well, Kevin Green can intimidate anybody.
Hello from fabulous Plank Road Field, where the Plank Road 10 has just chalked up another impressive win, and our coach, Paul, is ready to give his victory speech. Now this is watered down, and this isn't. Ice House. It's ice brewed, so there's never any watered down taste, just more of what you want in a beer. So remember, winning isn't everything, but Ice House is. Thanks, and enjoy.
If you think stress is tough on you, consider your engine. Traffic jams, towing and hauling, even idling can lead to damaging wear. That's why Castrol is introducing Syntec Blend, the only synthetic blend that combines Castrol conventional oil and Syntec molecular components for greater protection than conventional oil in severe driving conditions, because too much stress can be fatal. Castrol Syntec Blend, added protection for severe driving conditions.
You driving, big guy?
The Nissan Quest. Finally, a minivan the whole family likes to drive.
Kenny Albert, Jim Green, capacity crowd over 73,000 here in Jacksonville. And Tim, when this stadium is full, 13.7% of the entire Jacksonville metropolitan population in attendance. Over 73,000 wild fans here in Jacksonville.
And the rest are watching at home. Now we're going to see how the Panthers are dealing with Tony Brackens.
The smart ones are watching at home. It's hot. flag on the play, 2 flags, as the pass is complete on the far side, but 2 penalty markers.
Carolina's going to get to do it again because it's offsides against the Jacksonville defense.
Number 86, Willie Green.
Remember, all 6 previous penalties have gone against Jacksonville.
Coughlin's getting hot.
Offsides, defense, number 92, 5-yard penalty, repeat, third
That's
down.
Don Davey. That's the second one he's gotten, along with the roughing the passer. So again, I mean, you know, they just keep doing it to themselves with the penalties, but this is critical. 3rd and 5, the Panthers need to continue this drive and go into halftime with some points.
3 receivers for Carolina. Burline to the far side, in and out of the hands of Willie Green.
You know what? I'm sorry, but they've got to look for Wesley Waltz. This guy has had an unbelievable season, and he was in Burline's sight line, running up the same side. He's getting himself open, and Steve Burline is not finding him. He's only had 1 catch today, Walls, but he's getting open, and he's a big target, and he can run after the catch.
This will be a 45-yard field goal attempt. John Casey has not missed one all season. 13 of 13. The holder is Ron Stark. And this will be the first miss of Casey's season. Dating back to last year, he hit 16 consecutive field goals.
Well, you know it's all going wrong for the Panthers when Casey misses one.
You're born, you go to school, and then one day, things begin to get interesting. Where there was once only a wall, there appears a door. You take a deep breath and walk through to the other side. Things are very different here. Now, instead of preparing, you're doing. Instead of waiting, you're moving. The stakes are a lot higher than they were in high school, because out here, the tests you're given are of your honor, your courage, and your commitment. This is your journey. It's time you got underway. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
You driving, big guy?
The Nissan Quest. Finally, a minivan the whole family likes to drive.
Why waste your time pitching pennies when you can tattoo yourself for prizes? It's a trip around the world! Big deal. Tonight at 7, 6 Central.
Kenny Albert, Tim Green back in Jacksonville, where John Casey was wide right on his 45-yard field goal attempt, his first miss this season. Coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime report, JB and Terry will bring you the scores and highlights from Week 5 of the National Football League. And don't miss Fox NFL Sunday's Choice Cuts. I know that's a favorite segment of Tim's, Choice Cuts, featuring the league's best plays of last week. That's all coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime report.
Yeah, I take a Choice Cut hot dog, put some mustard on it, sit up here in the booth, and then watch the Choice Cuts. How about Choice Cuts for Jacksonville? Look at that offense production today. Twice as much as Carolina.
And they lead 14-0. A minute 45 to go in the first half. Jacksonville with 2 timeouts remaining as James Stewart is bottled up behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of 2 on the play.
Now what you do if you're Carolina here is you want to stop them, turn the ball over, and take another shot at it. Because when you have an aggressive defense like Dom Capers does, that's what you do. You've got some big stars, and you never know what can happen. I mean, Lamar Lathan, Kevin Green, those guys are capable of forcing a turnover at any time.
Flag on the play as the pass was broken up Intended for McCardell. Toy Cook got a piece of it, but a flag was thrown.
Illegal formation. Number 72 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
You know, that surprises me not at all, because Leon Searcy, watching film on him all week, you're going to see how he sets up, and he's working against Kevin Green. Look how deep he is. Now, his helmet has to break the waistband of the center. That's the rule, and he hasn't done it all season, so he's continued to line up deep because he's working against Kevin Green. So you want to get as deep as you can to battle Green's speed, but he's gotten too deep, and they finally called it on him.
And the penalty was declined, so that brings us to third down and 11. Brunell out of the shotgun. And Brunell's pass is complete. Not enough for the first down, as Sam Mills and Chad Cota made the stop on the tight end, Pete Mitchell, a gain of 9, but the Jaguars will be forced to punt.
Yeah, and now Carolina, Dom Capers, has got another chance. And that's what you do. When you have a strong defense, you tell them, you challenge them. Dom Capers, I'm sure, said to his defense before they went out of the field, you guys stop them. I want another chance. I want another chance for John Casey to get 3 points, or Burline to throw it in to find one of his receivers to get 7. But you don't want to go into halftime without any points at all on the board. It's very disheartening.
And we will go into halftime. Looking forward to the Donkeys Khakis halftime with JB and Terry. Scores and highlights. Choice cuts. The Panthers called timeout, their first, so each team with 2 timeouts remaining, which stops the clock with 1:04 to go, and the Jaguars getting set to punt.
Well, you're watching the Donkeys Cackers. I'm going to watch the Dockers Khakis.
You watch the Donkeys, I'll watch the Dockers.
You know, it's so hard. I mean, there's a lot of tongue twisters up here. You got Panthers, and you got Jaguars, you got 2 cats, you got 2 quarterbacks, Burline, Brunell, and you got Donkeys and Cackers.
And here you have Winslow Oliver, no tongue twister there as he lets it go, and what a bounce. Takes a Jaguar bounce.
Wow.
Oliver thought it would reach the end zone. Instead, the Panthers will start deep in their own territory following the 53-yard punt by Barker.
Barker dropped that kick in like a short par 3. That kick hit, and it bit back.
A couple of flags were thrown late.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Barker, now people are going to like him on the sideline. You don't usually care too much about your punter, but when your punter drops it in like a shot on a par 3 where the ball kicks back and you pin the offense, the other team's offense down, all of a sudden everybody says, hey, Barker's a pretty good guy. You know, he's helping us out in this effort here.
Well, par 3 off whose golf club? I know it's not mine, and I've never seen you play.
Hey, like Tiger Woods, somebody like that.
And another, guess who this penalty's on, Tim? Another Jaguars penalty. That is their 8th, not including the declined penalty a couple of moments ago. 8 Jacksonville penalties, none on the Carolina side. Yet the Jaguars do lead 14-0.
Yeah, because they don't have the turnovers, but Carolina does. And they've got the hot quarterback in Mark Brunell. He looks unstoppable. Dom Capers has got Burline.
The kicking team illegally went out of bounds, came back in, was the first to touch the ball. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Kendrick Bullard, number 88.
Yeah, he illegally goes out of bounds because nobody pushes him. He just runs. You see it right there? He just steps out.
Steps in that white area you were talking about.
The white area where the back judge called the penalty. So he can't be the first guy to touch the ball. It's illegal, and now they got to try the whole thing over again. Nice break for Carolina. Larry Pasquale, special teams coach for the Jaguars. Now all of a sudden this penalty thing is starting to infect his area of play. It's infected the offense and the defense, and now it's infecting the special teams.
So Barker will essentially do it over. Winslow Oliver, the terrific rookie out of New Mexico, who says most guys on returns want to get to the 30. My goal is the end zone.
And he's not a guy you want to have to kick over to.
No, he reached the end zone against New Orleans week 2.
Yeah, and he's even more dangerous when you have to re-kick because your punt team is tired. They already ran down and covered one punt. Now you're going to ask him to run. It's like 2 wind sprints in the heat.
And Oliver's not tired. He did not return the previous punt. Oliver forced back to the 8. Here he goes, another flag.
Coming back.
Another flag is thrown.
That was about as obvious a penalty as you could ever ask to see any time in the game football.
For what it's worth, the punt sailed 55 yards.
It's a beautiful kick. I mean, Barker's really doing a nice job. But Steve Lofton just hits a guy right in the back. And the guy who drew the penalty was Kendrick Bullard.
Illegal block in the back on the return team. Number 29. 10-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal line. First down.
And you could hear the crowd react sarcastically. First penalty of the afternoon called on Carolina.
Watch it right here. Watch what Lofton does. Now, see, you got to give Bullard credit because look at that. I mean, you can't do that. That's crazy. He puts his hand right in the middle of his back, and the official is standing right there, too. I mean, the official was right behind him. So that's kind of a crazy thing to do, but Bullard drew the penalty. So he got one penalty, and then he drew one on the next play, so it all evened out for him.
So now it will be the Panthers from deep in their own territory. From the 6-yard line with 43 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Panthers trailing 14-0. Anthony Johnson spins out to the 8.
You think Dom Capers had a little discussion with Anthony Johnson before this play, before this series? I mean, after fumbling the ball down on the goal line before, now they're in a critical situation. Obviously going to run the ball out. The Panthers are trying to. So the last thing you want is Anthony Johnson to fumble that ball again. And you just remind him. That's what you do. Before he goes out, you say, okay, you know, you hurt us once. Just make sure we don't do it again.
Now the Jaguars call timeout with 36 seconds remaining.
But you have to remember, they've got a heck of a Hail Mary pass. They completed 2 of them last week, so anytime you've got Brunell's arm where he can throw it 70 yards in the air and you've got successful Hail Marys, you want to try to get that shot again.
Second game of our Fox doubleheader. 49ers and the Falcons in some areas. There's Burline on second down. Anthony Johnson out to the 15, about 1.5 yards short. And Jacksonville calls their final timeout. It will be 3rd and about 2, between 1 and 2 yards to go. So there is still a chance the Jaguars could get the ball back.
Yeah, and as I started to say just a moment ago, whenever you get the ball back with Burline's arm and the success with those Hail Mary passes, you know, you can score again.
The middle linebacker, Tom McManus, being checked out, starting in place of the injured Brian Schwartz. McManus, an interesting story, played for Tom Coughlin at Boston College, and he was working as a bartender in Chicago, Tim, last year. Before signing as a free agent, he called Tom Coughlin for a tryout, and Tom a bit reluctant to bring McManus in because he felt the consequences would not be good, felt he would have to cut McManus from the roster, but here he is 1 year later starting at middle linebacker.
Well, he's a tough guy. I mean, you got to be tough to play middle linebacker in the NFL, and you know, got to be tough to 10 bar in Chicago. So at least Coughlin knew what he was getting. He knew he was getting a tough guy. He knew him from college, and then he knew he was working behind the bar up in Chicago, so he didn't lose anything there. He didn't lose his edge in the bar.
So on 3rd and short, Johnson is wrapped up, and who is it? Tony Brackens once again. The star of the game defensively today for the Jaguars.
Yeah, not only defensively, but the star of the game, period. Here he is right here, and watch him work. I mean, this guy has displayed incredible quickness and power. Look at that. He knocks Dennis right on his back. I mean, Tony Brackens is giving Mark Dennis just he's got egg all over his face. He's got egg and pie and all kinds of things on his face.
21 years of age. The Panthers center, Curtis Whitley, shaken up. What a weekend it was last weekend. Curtis Whitley became a father. Curtis Jr. born 6 hours before kickoff, and then Daddy went out and helped defeat the 49ers.
And I read that Whitley said that the newborn somehow communicated to him that, you know, just go beat the 49ers.
I believe it.
Well, I heard Whitley say he's a different cat. He's a different kind of character. Steve Berline said he's the funniest guy he's ever met.
Whitley had the opportunity last year to play his home games in his college stadium down at Clemson. And he slowly walks off to the sidelines. Ron Stark out to punt, so the Jaguars will get another opportunity here with 24 seconds remaining. No timeouts for Jacksonville. Chris Hudson back deep. Ten men on the line for the Jaguars. The rush will be on. Here's Stark, gets it off. Good hang time. Hudson has trouble with it, but hangs on. So the Jaguars with 16 seconds to go, 56 yards. And last week it was Mark Brunell to Jimmy Smith on the Hail Mary at the end of the first half in New England for the touchdown. And then at the end of regulation, Brunell, another Hail Mary. Willie Jackson just short of the goal line, centimeters away from the touchdown. And Tom Capers told us that the Panthers did work on their Hail Mary defense this week.
You want to talk about a tough way to make a living? Watch Dwight Stone, the gunner for the Carolina team. Right there. Dave Thomas gets his head down. He mauls him. He holds him up. He gets frontal and whack. Travis Davis takes a shot at him. It's not an easy way to make a living. You got two guys on you the whole way.
And it looks as if the Jaguars will take a shot at it with three wide receivers. 16 seconds to go. Two successful Hail Marys last week. No timeouts remaining as Brunell slides.
He's trying to set him up to stop the clock.
They don't have any timeouts left.
Then they'll go for their Hail Mary.
Let's see, Brunell will try and spike it here.
You got it. 1 second on the clock. That's stupid.
Oh, now
that's
flag.
More stupid play right there. Brian DeMarco.
Flags and hats going flying from officials.
Yeah, I mean that's not what you want to do. You gotta control your mind.
Especially since the field goal unit was coming on for the Jaguars. Mike Hollis has trotted out for what will be a very long field goal depending on the penalties and where the ball is spotted.
Well, DeMarco was pushing in there with Mike Fox, and then he gave him a shove after the whistle. And it knocked Mike Fox down. And that's not something you can miss because Fox is 6'8", so when he goes down, it's like a big redwood. And then, of course, the official's going to see it and throw the flag.
If no one's in the forest, do you hear Mike Fox hitting the turf?
He's so big, even if nobody's in the forest, not only does he hit, but you hear it. 6'8", 300 and change. But Fox was smart because this is not a soft guy. I mean, Fox is about as tough as you get and about as mean as you get, and he plays tough and he plays mean.
Personal foul, offense, number 73. Personal foul, defense, number 93.
Oh.
Penalties offset. The down count second. There is 1 second left in the game.
Yeah, DeMarco's happy because Fox got it too. And here it is. Here's Fox. He's working right on DeMarco. So Fox gives him a pop. And then DeMarco shoves him. Now watch this. There's the penalty. I don't know where Fox got. Oh, that's where it is, man. The left. He threw the haymaker. Wow. You know, the last thing you want to do is throw a haymaker to a guy's helmet because you break your knuckles. So there I was saying Fox had control of himself. He lost control. DeMarco lost it, and Fox lost it.
53-yard attempt. Hollis with a career long of 53. And he matches his career best right here as time expires in the first half. Mike Hollis mobbed by his Jaguar teammates. His long of the season, and it matches his career best 53-yarder. That's the end of the first half. The Jaguars lead the Panthers 17-0. Halftime activity coming up from Hollywood next.
You've been waiting all summer for the season premiere of The X-Files.
Don't unlock doors you're not prepared to go through.
I'm gonna need some protection, Scully.
This Friday.
You know how important Agent Mulder is to the equation.
You know what killed him, don't you?
The wait is over.
Mulder, he's coming after you.
Who?
The man you left for dead. He's alive.
Let them go! Kill me!
The X-Files season premiere, Friday at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Hi, I'm Tony Baselli of the Jacksonville Jaguars for Kings Crown Ford, where you get the best prices, the best selection, and the best deals, like these.
New 96 Aerostar XLT, $14,799. A new 96 Contour GL, preferred equipment, plus air, $13,699. New 96 Windstar GL, loaded, $17,499. New 96 T-Bird LS, $15,499.
Come join the winning team at Kings Crown Ford. We're dealing.
When life is sweet, you want to savor every moment. And at Publix, we want to help you do just that. Delicious deli sandwiches, platters of just about anything you can think of. Now, isn't that food for thought?
We're in 11D. I'm Jamie Buckman. This is my husband, Paul.
Hi, how are you?
I think your bedroom's right next door to our kitchen. We hear you through the wall sometimes.
Time. Brought to you by Dockers Khakis. If you get invited to the luxury boxes, make sure you look like you've been there before. Nice pants.
And welcome to Hollywood for the Dockers Halftime, along with Terry Bradshaw. I'm James Brown. Get you up to date on the scores. Panthers trailing big. Mike Hollis, 53-yard field goal. Adding to the score, Panthers trailing 17-0. Dan Reeves trailing as well.
After a big upset over the Jets last week, you'd think the Giants would be ready to play, but oh, David Palmer, come here. Where are you from? Alabama. What do they do down there? Roll. Well, here he goes, rolling. 69 yards. Vikings on top of the Giants. Oh, 4 sacks of Dave Brown in the first half and a squeaker 7-6. We'll get the tape of that later.
Giants defense not too bad. Ted Marcher, Broda, and the Ravens, second home game ever, looking for a victory against the Saints.
Hey, played there. Can you believe it? What did I like to do? Just what Vinny does. Greatest route in all of football. Talk to me, James.
Slant.
No, it's a crossing route. 64 yards. Derek Alexander. Slant. Come on. There you have it. 10-3 over my Saints at the half.
Just wanted to see you get upset. Tampa Bay and Detroit. Detroit all over. You think, what is he saying to Tony Dungy?
He's saying, we're going to drive down to the 2-yard line, then Trent's going to throw an interception. And there it is. Trent Dilford. Benny Blade says, thank you for the gift. Christmas comes early, but look at the speed Dilford showed. Oh, poor tackling. Trent, we got to work on that 98-yard interception return. Benny Blade's way to go. Lions on top. Back comes Mitchell. This offensive line just getting in gear, James. Johnny Moore, 3 touchdown receptions now in the last 2 games, 17-0. Lions over the Bucks.
2 turnovers, a blocked field goal led to 17 points for the Steelers. Steelers now lead at 20-0 over Houston. Bengals by a field goal over the Broncos in the third, and the Bears trailing by a touch to the Raiders 10-3. When we come back, our favorite piece called
Choice Cuts.
After this.
It's a time when players become heroes and stars become legends.
Here comes a run. Here comes a throw. See.
Baseball fields become battlegrounds as the nation stops to watch.
And Herring and gone.
Wednesday, the Rangers take on the Yankees. Then Thursday, catch the NL Division Series. Coverage begins 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox.
There's a new day dawning across the Carolinas, and there's a Panther stalking victory in the NFL. From towns and cities across North and South Carolina, Carolinians are celebrating the birth of a new franchise. Hi, I'm Jerry Richardson, owner of the NFL Carolina Panthers. Perhaps you remember me on the receiving end of the John Unitas pass in the NFL championship game back in 1959. That was a long time ago. Well, I still love football, and I'm the Panthers' biggest fan. Our fans are our secret weapon. They're the same folks that are the volunteers that make up 116 local United Ways across North and South Carolina and raised over $130 million to help people in need through their local United Ways. In the NFL, we do more than play football. We're a part of our community and a part of the NFL United Way partnership of caring, and that's always a winning team. United Way, reaching those who need help, touching us all.
Yeah! Tonight at 8, 7 Central.
You don't move like your toe!
When you steal for a living.
Here, have a Rembrandt.
Your first priority.
Get out of here.
Not without you.
Is staying alive.
It's a violent world.
From John Woo, the director of Broken Arrow. Once a Thief, world premiere tonight at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Postseason baseball comes your way Wednesday night at 8 Eastern here on Fox with the offensively potent Rangers and Yankees doing battle in the American League Division Series. And welcome back to Hollywood and the Doctor's Halftime Report. Week 5 of the NFL, close games, upsets dominated Week 4 in the NFL. We present to you our choice cuts.
Hostetler will throw on 4th down, looking, firing, intercepted by Carr, up the sideline to the 30, going to midfield, he's going to go all the way and score, touchdown, save! Witherspoon out to the left, is anybody going to get him down the left side, 35-40, Witherspoon. Only man can catch him is Anderson, Witherspoon is gone. Turn off the lights, the party's over.
Now Mitchell will put it up in the air, and a pass in the corner.
To the end zone. Great catch. Touchdown, Minnesota. Great catch. Under pressure, has to avoid, and now turn and launch it downfield. And a leaping attempt is made, but it's batted away and into the arms of Jimmy Smith. Touchdown.
Back to throw. Going deep.
Here's a handoff to Ricky Waters up the middle. He breaks it. He's at the 40 to 35. It's a foot race. McKyer can't catch him.
Discovered this man, LaShawn Johnson. Cuts it back. Great move. LaShawn Johnson breaks open, and he may be gone. Touchdown.
Smith carries. Big ball. Inside of the 15. He's going in. Touchdown.
Fox, the exclusive home of the 1996 World Series.
Coming up on College Ball Live, the Seminoles play host to North Carolina. Is this a team that can finally hang around with FSU in the ACC other than Virginia?
As a matter of fact, you finally convinced me. I think Carolina does hang around with the Seminoles in Tallahassee.
Ohio State and Notre Dame get together. I guess Ohio State's the new team you're in love with.
You're so mad that I knew how good Ohio State was and you didn't.
Ohio State, Notre Dame, Florida State, North Carolina. We'll have it all for you. Be sure to tune in.
Catch College Ball live Sunday nights following Fox 30 News at 10.
Oh, yes, indeed. I got an MPV.
This is it. Mazda MPV LX5 Sport Utility Minivan. 4 doors, seating up to 8. ABS and dual airbags standard.
M-A-Z-D-A. MPV.
Mazda MPV LX5 with air, cassette, power windows and locks. Lease for $299 a month, $1,000 down. MPV.
I got a passion for the road.
Elaine.
You be careful, George.
So sweet. Elaine's so beautiful.
Is it possible I'm not as attractive as I think I am?
Oh, yeah.
Anything's possible.
Elena Rama.
Well, that pie.
6 days a week on Seinfeld.
Weeknights and Saturday at 7:30 on Fox 30.
Bart Simpson is shaking.
Most taverns. I'm looking for a Mrs. O-Problem, first name B.
Do I have a B.O. problem here?
You sure do!
He's relentless.
jock there?
Oh.
Last name Strap.
Hey, guys, I'm looking for a jock strap.
And he just can't help it.
Is there an alcoholic here? Is I.P. Feely here? Hey, I'm looking for Amanda Hugginkiss.
Bart Simpson, dialing daily on The Simpsons.
Weeknights at 5:30 on Fox 30.
Get news, sports, and weather first at 10 tonight.
Halftime in Jacksonville, where the Jaguars lead the 3-0 Panthers by the score of 17-0. 2 first-quarter touchdowns, and then the 53-yard Mike Hollis field goal as time expired in the second quarter. Kenny Albert, along with Tim Green, and when we looked at this game over the weekend before the kickoff today, if you judge the Panthers and the Jaguars by what they have done this year so far over the first month, you would not expect the Jaguars to be leading 17-0, but in the NFL, you just never know.
Right, it's almost the opposite, but you have to remember a couple things about Carolina. They've lost Tamanga Biaka-Batuka, so their run game is depleted, and then Steve Berline is not playing as hot as he played last week. He needs to get the ball more to Wesley Walls, and who's his tight end. Needs to spread that ball around a little bit better. But then on the other side, look, you got to give credit where credit's due. Mark Brunell is playing like a young Steve Young. He's running around when he can't get a first down by throwing the ball. He's getting a first down by running it and scrambling. So he's leading this team, and he looks outstanding. And then what you've got is you've got defense. And we're going to do the Mitsubishi halftime highlights. And what we're going to see is one guy, Tony Brackens. Watch him from the top of the screen. Watch him work. He's beating Mark Dennis badly all day today. Races around him, gets the sack, forces the fumble, recovers it himself. So he stifles one Carolina offensive drive on that play there. And then on this play, it's a goal line. He's up top. He's going to come through the line. Anthony Johnson fumbles the ball, and there he is. Brackens comes up with another fumble, another trophy for his mantle, and a big game today. A game where he's gone from a rookie to an impact player. Now, Brunell, we talked about how hot he is. 10 for 15, and then look at the distribution. He's got 5 to his wide receivers, 4 to his tight ends, 1 to his running back. This right here is the thing that Steve Berline is not doing. He's not getting the ball to his tight end, and you have to spread the ball around to be a successful passer on any given day.
Mark Brunell, 10 of 15 in that first half. And the Panthers will kick it off as we begin quarter number 3 here in Jacksonville. Randy Jordan on the return, 17 yards. Tim, the first half statistics.
Well, we talked about penalties and how devastating they have been for the Jaguars. Now, the Jaguars are still ahead, but they could be even more ahead if they didn't have all these penalties. And right here, turnovers is what has killed the Carolina Panthers. Turnovers have killed them. For the Jaguars, it's been penalties. And then if you look at the run game, Panthers only 37 to the Jaguars 88. The Jaguars wanted to come in, get behind that big offensive line, have them get low. They've done that. They've been low. And James Stewart, the running back for the Jacksonville, has been very strong.
On first down, Natron Means, the leading ball carrier for the Jaguars in the first half, and he begins the second half by scampering ahead for a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, I should have mentioned Natron Means as well. And then once again, we go back to the other hot thing on the field. Besides Brunell being a hot quarterback, Brackens being a hot defensive player, man, it's 100 degrees out there. That is smoking. And don't forget, now the Carolina Panthers, this matters. They're playing in black jerseys, and look at the stands. I mean, it's so hot that it's baking the stands. It's baking people out of the stands. It's like a bullfight in Spain. Everybody's moving to the shadow side of the field.
Now on 2nd and 7, the pass is short. The intended receiver, the tight end, Derek Brown.
And this is what Carolina needs to do. They need to get the immediate heat on Mark Brunell. Now, they didn't do that in the first half, and I can promise you that Dom Capers gave him a lashing in the locker room at halftime. And then the guy that you look to is Kevin Green, because he's the leader and he's the guy who's been there before, been to the Super Bowl, all-pro player, outstanding leadership. And so he's the guy you look to, and Dom Capers would say, all right, you've got to bring us back. Get to Brunell.
So now 3rd down and 7, Rising in motion, and Brunell is taken down. There it is, Kevin Green, sack number 3 on the season.
What an outstanding guy, Kevin Green. I mean, then that's what you do. You need a big play on defense. You need to turn the momentum around. He's the guy who can do it. Captain in the Army Reserve, and he's such a flamboyant guy that you would think, well, he must have liked Hulk Hogan or something like that, but he admired his brother more than anything. He's got manners on the field, too, something you wouldn't think of. He wrestled Ric Flair in the offseason, and his dad and brother, members of the Airborne 101. Airborne Cavalry, his dad a Vietnam vet, helicopter pilot, and his brother a helicopter pilot, a major in the Gulf War, won a Bronze Star.
The sack by Green leads to the punt, and the return by Oliver after the 56-yard punt by Barker.
Hi, Sally.
Ned, I won't be seeing you anymore.
Like that? Would you like to ride with Batman?
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the reliable all-new Mirage sedan from Mitsubishi, built for living. By Miller Lite, when you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. By Betty Crocker's rich and creamy frosting. With Betty Crocker, life is sweet. And by DirecTV, satellite TV at its best.
Perhaps some of the fans baking in the stands would rather be on the water.
That looked pretty good to me.
Jaguars leading the Panthers 17-0 following the big defensive stand. Panthers to the offense, and Berline fumbles. He was taken down.
Joel Schmengi, he's the guy who got him.
And it was recovered by the tight end Walter Rasby for the Panthers.
Schmengi's working the outside, and he's working the tight end side. Now, the tight end is usually there, and that's Walter Rasby. But you don't want a tight end on a defensive end. It's always a win. It's always a win. And Schmengi uses his speed, and he powers Rasby back. You want to put a tackle on this guy. He's a light defensive end, but he's not that light.
Berline with the quick slant to Willie Green, and he was met immediately by Dave Thomas, boosted into the starting role following the release of Vinnie Clark.
And that's nice coverage by Dave Thomas. Here's a guy who has not started at the cornerback position since he was, in junior college? Because he went from junior college to college, and he was a backup there, and then he's been a backup ever since he's been in the league. But Jacksonville does not think they've had a drop-off with this guy in the game. He's big, he's tall, 6'3", 215. He moves very well, and he gets those big arms on the receivers.
Third down and 13. The tight end Wesley Walls in motion. Berline back, and it will be short of the first down as Winslow Oliver made the catch and tried to battle ahead, but Chris Hudson made the tackle.
Yeah, Hudson hit him so hard that he hurt himself. And that was a crack.
Chris Hudson in his second season out of the University of Colorado. Panthers will punt it away when we return from Jacksonville. Kenny Albert, Jim Green from Jacksonville, Florida Municipal Stadium on a beautiful, sunny, hot afternoon.
Yeah, you see Clyde Simmons with the towel. Now what he's got to do is dip that towel in some ice cold water, then drape it over his head. He should know. He's from Arizona.
Yeah, he should be familiar. Spent the last 2 years with the Cardinals, and flags were thrown as Michael Bates came together.
Keenan McCardell. He drew that like you draw it in basketball because the ball wasn't even near him. But he just set up and stood his ground, and he drew that penalty.
44-yard punt by Stark.
That's what happens when you've been around the league for a while. You draw penalties. You do little things in a game. You do little things that pick up a few yards here, a few yards there, whether it's getting yourself open and stretching a little bit on a pass pattern or just faking out a special teams player from the other team, setting yourself up like a basketball pick. And then just, put a little acting, put a little Laurence Olivier. And when the guy runs by you just fall over like you got hit by a truck. What they're discussing right now is the fact that I believe Bullard pushed Bates into
no foul on
McCardell.
the play. The man was tucked into the ball carrier. First down.
There you go. Well, they saw it. So that's good eyes by the receiver. Now, here it is. Watch this here. Watch Bullard. Now, he pushes Bates into him, and so that's why there's no penalty.
Kendrick Bullard involved once again on special teams. Called for one earlier and then drew a penalty.
At the Principal Financial Group, you'll find the strength of our investment performance is your 401k retirement advantage. You'll find our flexibility will meet your insurance needs, and you'll find the balance of choice and quality you need in health coverage. For over a century, you've trusted the Principal for strength, flexibility, and balance in retirement, insurance, and financial products. At the Principal, we give you an edge.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to be cool. Hang out with other guys who are cool. But even cool guys sweat. 40% more than women, in fact. So how you gonna stay cool? With something new, Speed Stick Gel. No other gel keeps you drier, so you always feel your coolest. It's unbeatable gel protection, and guys, no matter how cool they are, need all the protection they can get. New Speed Stick Gel. It's just for the guys.
It has the power of 210 turbocharged horses and the agility of four-wheel multi-link suspension. Introducing the new 1997 Mitsubishi Eclipse GST. It makes waves. The new Eclipse from Mitsubishi, built for living.
From John Woo, the director of Broken Arrow, comes the world premiere movie, Watson Deep, tonight at 8, 7 Central.
This is some prime real estate right here. You see this area right here on the bench? That's right where you want to be, and Robert Massey's a smart guy because you got the wind coming out here, so what you do, you get your head wet a little bit, you dump a cold drink over your head, and then you sit right in front of the stand. Robert Massey, he knows about real estate in the NFL.
And he's a native of Charlotte, Panthers country. As this ball is picked off, Pat Terrell.
That's your defense. That's your defensive aggressiveness. Dom Capers always saves a few tricks. He told us last night, he said, look, I save a few tricks, and then I run them at critical situations. He needs a jump start, so watch Kevin Green come, and then watch the blitz come. They put the heat on Brunell. Green comes inside. See the corner blitz right there on the outside? Forces Brunell to put this ball up, and then they get a turnover. Something the Carolina Panthers defense really has not done incredibly well so far this season. They've only had 4 turnovers coming into this game. Now Terrell comes away with a big one.
You talk about the Lathans and the Greens and the Eric Davises, but it's Pat Terrell coming up with his first interception this season, 8th of his career.
And it was a good scheme because they sent, I think it was Brett Maxey. I think they sent Brett Maxey on the safety blitz from the outside, or the nickel blitz from the outside, sent Kevin Green to the inside. They knocked Brunell and put that ball up there for Pat Terrell to bring it down.
8th interception thrown by Brunell this season, which is one more than he threw all of last year.
You know what? Watch the way these Carolina Panthers are coming up to the line of scrimmage. They're pumped up. This offense is ready to go.
They trail 17-0 as Berline's pass is complete. It's Carrier. Works his way down the sideline as the Panthers with the 13-yard reception and the first down. Carolina started 0-5 last year, finished 7-4. And here you see the last 14 regular season games overlapping the 95 and the 96 seasons. Only the Chiefs are better.
Yeah, look at the company that they're keeping, the Carolina Panthers, and that's why we expected them. If anybody was going to be up 17-0, you would have expected it to be the Carolina Panthers in this game here. But turnovers in critical situations, and a rookie in Tony Brackens, who became an impact player, has turned that situation around for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Carolina's on the drive right now.
It started with the Arch Deluxe. Now McDonald's introduces more sandwiches with the grown-up taste.
Honey, our little boy, he's growing up.
Into what?
Whole chicken breast filet and fish filet. It's McDonald's with a grown-up taste. Now get McDonald's Chicken Deluxe or Fish Deluxe free with this coupon when you buy large fries and a medium Coke. Just look for the coupons. See stores for details.
These days, trying to get on top of your financial situation is getting tougher and tougher. What you need is someone with experience and know-how. MetLife can help you get a grip on things and help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays.
When you first come into the league, you're at the bottom of the mountain.
Football camp is the hardest thing I've ever been through.
Team, the coaches, the media,
all eyes are looking at me.
We asked some of the NFL's hottest rookies to switch antiperspirants and try Degree.
Body heat activated.
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
As I work harder, Degree works harder.
This stuff really works.
It helped me keep my coolness.
Body heat activated Degree for an extra degree of protection.
Don't want to be smelling like you just played a football game.
Back in Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville is an AFC town. So when Fox, we don't come here that much. So when we come here, we want everybody to know that Fox NFL football is in town. Tim Walburn, our technical director, just plastering that baby right on the biggest building you could find in Jacksonville. Now, how he did it, I'm not going to tell you, but that's what happens when Fox comes to an AFC town. Walburn just has stuff everywhere.
Wonder how long it took him.
I don't know. A lot of paint.
Can we leave it up there?
Yeah.
Here's Berline, pump fakes, and it's nearly picked off by Tom McManus. From McManus to McDonald's. McDonald's game break with James Brown and our Fox Television Center.
Carolina undefeated in trouble there. Guess what? The Giants has Minnesota in trouble. Aaron Pierce on the end around, and the Vikings are trailing the Giants 12-7. That's right, Kenny and Tim. The Vikings trail the Giants.
So both undefeated NFC clubs, Minnesota and Carolina, losing at the moment.
Yeah, but we're seeing Carolina on a drive. This is a critical play here, a critical series. They need to get points on the board.
Second down and 10, play action. And the pass is incomplete. Howard Griffith could not hold on. And remember, the Panthers have lost to Biakabatuka with the sprained knee. And they have gone to the air, and it will now be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, watch Joel Smangy, though. Remember what he did before? He got the heat on Steve Berline. Well, watch him now. Once again, the Carolina is not blocking him with a big guy. They're blocking him with a back, and he disrupts this pass. Now, Griffith fumbles it and bobbles it, but it's Smangy who's getting in there, and he's going to run right over a back or a tight end. You got to block Smangy with big Blake Brockermeyer.
3rd and 10. The pass is caught. No, it's dropped. Let's see. Did he hang on?
Yeah,
yes, touchdown. Mark Carrier. He held on long enough. 24 yards, and the Panthers are on the scoreboard.
They got Smangy with Brockermeyer. It gave Berline the time, and then he went to his old friend. He knows he's always there. Mark Carrier. Working against Massey. Massey spent a little too much time by the cooler. It cooled him down a little too much, seized him up. Look at that. Nice job. Now, he had control of that ball when he got over the plane. Now, watch Smangy. Here's what you do. Brockermeyer. You don't put a little guy against him. Look at Brockermeyer. Stuffs him up, holds him up, gives Berline the time he needs to find his favorite receiver in the end zone.
The cornerback, Dave Thomas, knocked out of the game due to an injury just moments ago, so Massey was in his slot.
Yeah.
And that is who they went after.
That's a great point because, we saw Massey by the cooling fan earlier, and when you get by that cooling fan, sometimes it'll stiffen you up a little bit, slow you up. And Carrier took advantage of it. But the key was keeping Smangy out, keeping Brackens out, the protection that the Carolina offensive line gave Steve Berline.
The Jaguars not happy that the play was ruled a touchdown. They felt Carrier did not hold on to the ball long enough, and now Gary Lane, the referee, over for a chat.
All he has to do is have control of it when he's in the air. If he controls the ball and he's across the plane, then it's a touchdown. Now, how could you call it? It happens in such a split second. Now, we're going to slow it down and take a look at it. Now, there he is. He's got it. Is it in his hands? No, but he's got it tight to his body, and then he dropped. Yeah, I mean, that's a touchdown. He had that ball tight to his body. So it's a touchdown. It's a nice call that you have to make in a split second.
Gary Lane, the referee, had spoken with both coaches. There might be some concern on the field. The fans were throwing things towards the players in the end zone, and I think Gary Lane may have given the Jaguars a warning, perhaps, regarding their fans deep in the end zone.
Now the Jaguars might not only get there's the stuff. And usually when they throw those babies, they're not empty. They're full of beer or something.
Remember, was it Cleveland last year where they had each team go the same direction because the fans in the dog pound were so rowdy that whichever team was on offense, they would go the other way?
I can remember having dog biscuits bounced off my helmet when I went to Cleveland and played on the dog pound. Oh, he missed the extra point.
Oh, it is no good. John Casey, who missed the field goal earlier, misses the extra point. He had not missed a field goal or an extra point all season.
Well, we got another angle of that touchdown. So that's a critical mistake by Casey. Terrible. Missing the field goal, now missing the extra point. Let's take a look. It's not even that pretty of a pass by Berline. It's got a little duck in it. Now watch, he pulls it in. There's Carrier. See, he's got it tight to his body there. He's got it tight to his body, and then it's the ground that knocks it out. So he had control of that ball when he crossed the plane. So it's a touchdown, but then your kicker just flat kills you. Kills you by missing an extra point.
Only his fourth career miss in 131 opportunities. John Casey missed only one last year, 27 of 28, and he blows the extra point.
And he's got to be shaken up because he missed that 45-yarder and now missing the extra point. That'll shake a kicker up because they don't expect to do that. Now, look, he can write off the 45-yarder and say, oh, hey, look, I was 13 for 13, strong. I had to miss one sooner or later. Got that out of the way. It's okay. We'll go on from there. But when you start missing those extra points, I mean, heck, you know, Merle, our stats guy, he can make an extra point. He was making them yesterday before the game.
But he couldn't make the field goal under pressure.
No, he couldn't make it under pressure, but he can make the extra point.
Well, we'll see about that. So John Casey, who was leading the NFL in scoring, coming into play today. He was the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week, weeks 1 and 2. Will not earn that award this week. And now the kickoff from Casey. Randy Jordan. Jordan dragged to the turf by Michael Bates. 11-yard return. And, Tim, we are told Dave Thomas suffering from dehydration. The cornerback, the left cornerback for the Jaguars, who was taken out.
Yeah, they don't know.
Robert Massey inserted and Massey beaten for the touchdown.
That's right. Now, they don't know. So the Heat got to Jacksonville, even though they've got the white jerseys. But here's what they'll do to Thomas. They'll take him into the locker room. They'll put some big old IV needles in his arm, and they'll dump a couple quarts of fluid into him. And they get that stuff in there fast. They can pump it into you in about 10 minutes time, and after you get that, you feel great. So don't be surprised to see Dave Thomas back out here again.
What does that feel like?
It's a good feeling. I mean, the needle hurts, but it's a good feeling when that IV gets in you after you've been dehydrated. You get energized.
James Stewart on the carry. Tonight on Fox Night at the Movies, John Woo, the director of the box office smash Broken Arrow, brings a world premiere motion picture to Fox. John Woo's Once a Thief, an explosive Fox original movie tonight at 8, 7 Central.
Now, I've got to not only see that movie, but I got to meet John Woo. I mean, he's making a movie star out of Howie Long. And now he's all over Fox, so he's a guy we've got to try to run into, Kenny.
And what a perfect lead into the movie promo as Brunell throws it away. James Stewart carries the football, Jimmy Stewart, and then the promo for the movie.
There you go, a movie guy with a movie promo. But once again, it's the heat, it's the pressure that the Carolina defense is now putting onto Mark Brunell. They're getting the pressure fast, and they're getting it, and it's strong. So they're disrupting Brunell as they did not do in the first half, which enabled Brunell to go 10 for 15.
Yes, and he was 10 for 13 at one point. Since then, he's thrown 5 passes, 4 incompletions, 1 interception.
Yeah, and that's because of the pressure that this Carolina defense is putting on him.
And now Brunell in trouble, scrambling away, and it is incomplete. Another incomplete pass. And Brunell hobbling a bit as the Jaguars will go 3 and out and will be forced to punt.
Yeah, you know, remember how I said that the Panthers' offensive line was running up to the ball? You can see this Carolina team is surged up. I mean, their defense is playing really well, getting the heat on Brunell. Their offense drove down and had that nice score. So what we're seeing from the Carolina Panthers is the beginnings of a comeback. It's an important element in every football team. They're 3-0, but if they get 4-0 off a comeback, they're going to be even stronger and more confident for the rest of this season.
Winslow Oliver driven all the way back to the 19. Oliver to the outside. What a second effort. Winslow Oliver, 16-yard return following the 56-yard punt. Panthers to the offense when we come back.
Welcome to Spirit of the Game, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every flight, every seat, every day.
He don't have to play, Doc. All he's got to do is kick.
Remember that first bike? It set you free. You could go places, see people. Whole neighborhoods opened up. But it was always more fun when a friend came along. That's why Southwest Airlines brought back Friends Fly Free. Just buy a ticket at our full unrestricted fare, and a friend flies with you free. Southwest Airlines.
Just what makes that little old ant think he can move a rubber tree plant? Anyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant, but he's got high hopes, he's got high hopes, he's got high apple pie in the sky. Hope so anytime you're feeling low, instead of letting go, just remember that ant. Whoops, there goes another rubber tree plant.
John Yurkovich, defensive lineman for the Jaguars, for the Panthers, down there on the turf with a contusion in his left thigh. Now, what happens with a contusion is you get hit, and the muscle, a big muscle like your leg, just fills with blood. The pain is incredible.
So Yurkovich out, and Mark Carrier makes the catch for the Panthers on first down, forced out of bounds by Kevin Hardy.
Look at this. I mean, that's pain, and this is a tough guy. Yurkovich is about as tough as you get. Heck, I mean, we asked him how he liked coming from Green Bay down here to the sunny south. He said, you know, I like the cold and the snow. So this is a tough guy, and this is what it's about in the NFL. We put a book together on him. This is the kind of guy he is. Law of football for him is leverage. Get low. He loves the cold and snow. We talked about that. And his goal off the field is to play golf in 50 states, all 50.
And now Berline's goal is to connect with Muhammad, but he could not hold on. Double coverage on the play. And getting back to Yurkovich, yes, he would like to play golf in all 50 states. He's already covered 14 states. In fact, he was playing golf down in Brett Favre's hometown in Mississippi when he signed his contract with the Jaguars.
Well, his wife called him and said, you better not mess this one up. I want to get down south. I want a house with a pool and the whole 9 yards. So he came off the course. He made the call. But you know what he said? He's going to have a tough time making it to Alaska. Do they have golf courses in Alaska?
There must be at least one, I would guess.
Yeah, he's a long way from a golf course now because he's battling that injury on the sideline.
Third down and 3. Here's Berline. Winslow Oliver. First down in Jacksonville Jaguars territory. So the rookie out of New Mexico, Winslow Oliver, with the 17-yard reception. Oliver says his goal is to gain at least 10 yards every time he touches the ball.
Jacksonville tries to use Carolina's own trick because it's a zone blitz. Here, watch Don Davey pulling out. Now, he's got the coverage. Don Davies, a defensive lineman, 92, he's got the coverage on the back. Well, you know, they outsmarted themselves because Jacksonville, taking a play out of the Carolina defensive playbook with that zone blitz, worked against them. They had a defensive lineman who has to drop out, replace the linebacker in the coverage, and that's the one they're supposed to cover. He's supposed to cover the back. So they get the first down. Carolina gets a first down because Jacksonville used their own play against them. Did that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Clyde Simmons is the guy who's shaken up.
Shaken up for the second time this afternoon. Well, Tim, next week on Fox NFL Sunday, the same Carolina Panthers will take on Chris Carter and the Minnesota Vikings. Both teams came in undefeated, both currently losing. Other exciting regional action as well. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So check local listings.
But it's important for these teams, Kenny, both Carolina and Minnesota, to be able to come back from behind. Because Carolina played terribly in the first half. And there again, you see the heat. You got to remember the heat and the black jerseys. You have to admire Carolina for the way they've come back in this second half, despite that heat, despite the black jerseys.
Handoff goes to Anthony Johnson, who fumbled earlier. And, you know, when you talk Steve Berline, here's a guy who was a teammate of Clyde Simmons in Arizona. We just saw Simmons hobble off. Berline, not only a teammate of Simmons, but hundreds of other players. He spent some time with the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Jaguars, and now the Panthers. 8 head coaches during his 10-year NFL career.
Yeah, and the thing you have to remember, though, is this guy down here, Dom Capers, was beaten by Berline when he was with the Cowboys and the Cardinals. That's part of the reason he wanted to bring him to Carolina, to his Panther team.
Yes, Capers, a longtime assistant coach with the New Orleans Saints, also the defensive coordinator with the Steelers.
So he was beaten as a Steeler by Berline when Berline was with the Cowboys, and then he was beaten as a Saint when Berline was with Arizona. So he's seen a lot from Steve Berline, and that's what you do. That's how you select players. A lot of times in the NFL, coaches like guys who've beaten them in the past.
Jacksonville, that is their first charge team timeout.
Let's see, he said Jacksonville and pointed towards Carolina.
Yeah, Tom Coughlin's blowing a gasket.
Gary Lane said timeout Jacksonville, pointed towards the Panthers. And, Tim, there was some controversy in the first half when Jacksonville was originally charged with a timeout early in the first quarter, but it turned out that delay of game penalty when the play clock expired, that basically gave the Jaguars back their timeout.
Yeah,
so,
which enabled them to get the field goal at the end of the half, because
yes.
Remember, they needed all 3 timeouts.
So fortunate in a way that the play clock did expire and they were given back that timeout. It worked out in the long run.
Yeah.
And right here, it is
now, Kenny Albert, you're the only guy that has that computer like mine that could download what happened in the first half with the timeouts and then figure out how it affected the second half throughout the game.
Well, at least it affected the end of the first half.
Well, I'm not going to question you, Kenny, because I'm telling you, every time I think I know something, I just look to you and you start downloading stuff. It's coming out of your mind, and you know stuff from 3 years ago.
Yeah, but I don't keep logbooks of every meal and every movie I've seen like Dom Capers does. I mean, that guy, since 1981, he has logged everything he does in a notebook in his office.
Yeah, and the amazing thing about Dom Capers is that he put together, from his logbooks, he synthesized a manual as to what he would do when he was a head coach. Now he's a head coach. He pulled out his manual. It's like a 300-page manual, and that's how he's operating this team. And really, that's why Carolina has had the success that they've had over the last 14 games.
And now Berline looking for Carrier, but it rolled up his shoulder. And we will head to Hollywood for this game break with James Brown and our Fox Television Center.
Kenny, Saints are trying to keep from going 0-5 once again. Jim Everett scrambling, looking downfield, looking for Haynes. Haynes, little bit of a push-off, but they give him the touchdown. All tied at 10. Back to Kenny Albert and Tim Green.
Remember how we saw Andre Rison push off? Well, Rison and Haynes were teammates. They practiced pushing off down there in Atlanta. I saw them.
You were there on the other side of the football.
And they get away with it, too, and they're still getting away with it.
3rd down and 7. Here's Berline in trouble, and he is taken down. Eddie Robinson, who's had a strong game here this afternoon. Robinson along with Dana Hall on the sack of Berline.
Well, this time the page from the Carolina defense works for the Jaguars, because it's an all-out blitz They just send everybody, safeties, linebackers, linemen. It's a big party in the backfield, and it's a big play. So Dick Geron, the Jacksonville defensive coordinator, uses a playbook for a play out of Dom Capers' book, and it works.
Now Hudson calls for the fair catch. So Mark Brunell and the Jaguars will take over. 28-yard punt, but Stark does pin the Jaguars back at their own 15-yard line.
And this is the time when Carolina, again, you look to Kevin Green and Lamar Lathan and Sam Mills. You look to those guys, and you expect them to be the ones to pull you out. To stop Brunell again, they need to get heat on.
And we talked about the comparisons, Tim, between Brunell and Steve Young. Brunell only 26 years of age, and when Steve Young was 26, he was only in his first season with the 49ers, started only 3 games that year.
Yeah, but already you could see the same signs that you see in Mark Brunell. The quickness, the accuracy, the leadership.
4-yard pickup on first down, James Stewart. And next week, Fox NFL Sunday will begin with America's favorite pregame show. JB, Terry, Howie, and Ronnie will discuss which quarterbacks are now the best and the worst in the NFL. Has Brett Favre surpassed Steve Young and Troy Aikman as the quarterback king? You'll find out next Sunday. Don't miss Fox NFL Sunday.
You know, Brett Favre really is the guy right now.
And he and Mark Brunell were teammates in Green Bay as Stewart takes the handoff, and he is forced back. James Stewart met immediately by the former Buffalo Bill and New York Giant Carlton Bailey.
Yeah, what that was is a run blitz. Because any time you're in a running situation, a running down, second and not very long, and you see Carlton Bailey not only in the game but in the backfield, you know that Dom Capers has said, okay, I'm sending my linebackers right not only at the line of scrimmage, but through the line of scrimmage. We'll fill every hole with a man. We'll stop the run game. We'll get Jacksonville into a known passing situation and then turn Kevin Green and Lamar Lathan loose.
3rd down and 7, 3 wide receivers for the Jaguars. Brunell under pressure from the blitz. His own blitz we've talked about, and he was forced to throw it away.
Yeah, and he was smart throwing it away because it was Brett Maxey again on that same blitz that before Brunell was forced to throw an interception on. You're going to see Brett Maxey, he's right here, and watch him come right through. Kevin Green opens it up because Green uses up Leon Searcy. That allows Brett Maxey to come through, and then Brunell looks like he's hobbling a little bit. It looks like something's got him a little bit.
He's also 0 for his last 7.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get a little nick and it hobbles you and it affects your rhythm. Of course, so does a tough defense.
Winslow Oliver out near midfield. And the Panthers will start in excellent field position, 37-yard punt. Darren Studstill made the tackle, and with just over 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, the Jaguars will led 14-0 after 1. Their advantage is now 17-6 as Tom Coughlin looks to defeat a non-AFC Central club for the first time as Winslow Oliver is now down. The Jacksonville Jaguars 5-5 against their division, 0-10 against the rest of the NFL. And for Dom Capers' Carolina Panthers, they hope to continue their undefeated season, 3-0.
You know, whatever happens today, you really have to admire Dom Capers and what he's done and how he's turned this young franchise so quickly into a winner. But, you know, it starts at the top. Owner Jerry Richardson, former NFL player, Bill Polian, who put together the Buffalo Bills and 4 straight Super Bowls for them. So it starts at the top and it works its way down.
And the handoff goes to Anthony Johnson, and it starts at the top with owner Jerry Richardson, as you mentioned, and terrific draft picks the last 2 years. They've drafted for offense and looked elsewhere for defense. And here we see the first 3 draft selections each year for Carolina.
Yeah, and Kerry Collins is playing strong. Tyrone Poole made the All-Madden team last year, a coveted award. Brockermeyer's playing. And then Biaka Batuko, who was out today, unfortunately, because he's a strong runner. And the best runner, the best rookie runner in the NFL right now. Hopefully he'll be back before the end of the season.
On 2nd down, it is Johnson once again.
Yeah, and it's Brackens once again. It's Tony Brackens. This guy's doing it all. Now, sometimes you see a rookie and you say, well, you know, he's a good pass rusher. That's what he's known for, being a pass rusher. You say, well, he had a couple sacks. He's rushing the passer. Well, now we see Brackens using his speed and aggressiveness to play the run.
And Frank Garcia, the left guard, is shaken up.
Let's take a look at Tony Brackens and watch how he plays the run. Here he is here. You're going to watch him work against the blocker and string this play out. Now they've got a tight end on him, and he jacks a tight end backwards, Wesley Walls, and then uses his speed to beat the running back to the outside and make this tackle.
And Kevin Hardy, the first-round draft pick out of Illinois, also in on the tackle as we see Tony Brackens. Frank Garcia is still down.
Right, so we talk about how Carolina is doing good with their first-round draft choices, and you have to say, well, Jacksonville's doing pretty doggone good with theirs.
Second overall behind only Keyshawn Johnson. And Tim, I had to get this in. I had to ask you what your answer was during the Scouting Combine's questionnaire given to the NFL rookies. And one of the questions on Kevin Hardy's questionnaire was, do you like tall women? And you know what Kevin's answer was?
What?
Instead of answering the question, he crossed out the T in tall.
Yeah, he got some extra points for that one.
What was your answer at the Combine to that question?
I didn't get that question. I had a bunch of – the Combine is a strange thing. It's a strange experience, and they test everything from the diameter of your head to the circumference of your fist, and then you're talking about the Wonderlic intelligence test. And I didn't get that question. I must have had a different test.
So Kevin Hardy changing the question from tall women to all women. And the Jaguars obviously impressed with his answers. They selected him second overall.
And he's playing well.
Berline's pass off the fingertips.
There's Thomas back. He's the guy with the coverage. I told you they'd get some IVs in him. They got the IVs in Thomas. Look at him. You see that smile? There's nothing like a couple of bags of IV. Stuff goes right into you, and you feel supercharged.
We should get some up here in the booth.
Well, I mean, we don't need it down here. The guys down there need it.
And the intended receiver on that pass, there you see him, number 81, Rocket Ismail. First ball thrown his way this afternoon, the former Oakland Raider. Ron Stark punting to Chris Hudson, who lets it go and rolls into the end zone. So the Jaguars offense will start out from their own 20-yard line. Well, as we get into the fifth week of the NFL, it's time for the baseball playoffs. And this Wednesday, Game 2 of the American League Division Series, the Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees. Then on Thursday, it will be the Atlanta Braves against the loser of today's San Diego Padres Los Angeles Dodgers matchup. The winner of that game will face the St. Louis Cardinals. So how exciting. Baseball on Fox. We have the Super Bowl coming up in January, the Stanley Cup Finals, and now the World Series.
Yeah, and I love watching this race, because everyone loves to watch Atlanta, and, they've got this great team. But I like to watch something like Texas and New York, because even though New York is a favorite team, they've never done well in Texas. And Texas, this is the first time they've been in the playoffs.
Yes, the Yankees have struggled at the ballpark in Arlington as the pass was bobbled. The first down pass from Brunel, and we'll see whether or not they call it a completion to McCardell or an incomplete pass. The officials talking things over.
Well, if it's a completion, I want to know who came up with that ball.
Well, McCardell made the catch and then fumbled. He bobbled it, and it looks as if the ball will be spotted at the 26. So, yes, it is a completion to McCardell.
Well, it's nice work by him, not only hanging on to that ball long enough to get the completion, but to get a wrap like that, get the ball knocked out, and then pull it back in and recover your own fumble.
Second down and 4. The quick slant to the far side, and that is Andre Rison, his first catch of the afternoon. It comes with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen him today. First time we've seen him catch the ball.
And Andre getting the crowd into it.
Well, and the crowd likes Andre Rison because what he did last week up in New England. 2 spectacular touchdown receptions. And they want to see more of him today. Part of the plan was to get the ball to him more today, but Brunel's been so well spreading the ball around that they haven't had to go to Andre Rison.
James Stewart on first down. Rison released by the Baltimore Ravens during the offseason. Now with his 4th National Football League club, but here's a guy who's been to the Pro Bowl 4 times.
Well, Andre Rison is like a roulette wheel, because sometimes you'll hit the jackpot with him and he'll score a touchdown. Other times he'll run the wrong pattern and the quarterback will throw the in and he'll run the out or the go, and it ends up being an interception. So you're either bankrupt or you win the jackpot with Andre Rison. He's a roulette wheel.
Derek Brown spins off the first tackle and has the first down.
Nice work by Derek Brown.
He signals the first down.
Well, he's got to feel good about that because he has dropped so many balls this year. There you see Frank Garcia. They're wheeling him out. Guys going on and off of this field.
The weather has certainly been a factor on both sides this afternoon. 108 degrees on the field at game time.
That hurts Carolina even more, Kenny, because everything starts with the center. All the timing of an offense begins with the center.
James Stewart on the delay. Out to midfield. Greg Cragen on the stop, along with Brett Maxey, a gain of 4.
No, Cragen has made some plays today. We saw him with that sack earlier. He's made a couple tackles on the run game. And then on that play there, he came from the other side of the field. He's not a guy who you think of as having outstanding mobility, but he showed great mobility on that last play.
And he's experienced. He's played in 3 Super Bowls with the Broncos.
Yeah, he almost didn't play this season. During training camp, he was having a hard time, and he told Dom Capers he was thinking about retirement.
Brunell to the outside, and Rison could not pull it down.
Well, Mark Brunell's a little off, but you have to understand, whenever he throws to Andre Rison, I talked about it a few moments ago, he never knows what Andre Rison is quite going to do, because Andre Rison has all this talent and this spectacular speed and mobility and movement. So what it causes, he plays sandlot football. He'll just get himself open, not necessarily running the pattern called in the huddle.
They're following the incomplete pass. Now 3rd down and 6. Brunell pump fakes, and then here's the receiver, McCardell, and another Jaguars first down. 12-yard gain for the former Cleveland Brown, McCardell.
That's just nice work. I mean, you talk about free agent acquisitions, and Andre Rison and Keenan McCardell. And watch it here. He just separates himself. Again, he looks like that's what Mark Carrier does for Carolina. He comes in, and then he finds the soft spot, the open spot in the defense. It's zone coverage. He saw Cota standing there, so he just breaks it back to the outside.
And now it's James Stewart once again. Getting back to McCardell, the Panthers were actually interested in signing him as a free agent, but he chose Jacksonville, and he has caught 3 passes for 67 yards here today against the team he nearly signed with.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice average.
Including that 50-yarder in the first half. As we are under 1 minute to go, 3rd quarter. First ever regular season matchup between the 2 expansion teams of 1995, the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Panthers 3-0, the Jaguars 1-3. Flag on the play as Brunell to McCardell once again inside the 20.
I think Leon Searcy got another one. It looked like he was lined up deep again.
Referee Gary
Illegal
Lane.
formation. Number 72 is not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's Leon Searcy. He's had that habit. We saw him do it earlier, and Kenny, you and I saw it watching film yesterday at the Jacksonville facility. You see this? Now, look, he can't, this is where, and the line's a little too thick, but he's got to break the plane of the center's waistband. And that's a big waist. I mean, he's got a lot, there's a lot to work with there, because that's Dave Waddell.
312 pounds to work with.
Yeah, he's 6'7". I mean, that's a lot of waistband. So Searcy's got to, he's got to get up. He's got to get up in front of that waistband.
Oh, that is batted down by Sean King. Brunell took a hit. fans wanted the flag, but no penalty marker is thrown.
Yeah, Lamar Lathan dumped him. So we'll take a little peek at it. Lathan coming from the top. So let's take a look at it. It's the screenplay. And he takes one step, because he pulled up. And now it knocked him over, but Lathan pulled back, and the official saw it. It knocked Brunell off, but that was not a hit. That's a nice call by the official, a nice non-call. Because you want to protect the quarterback, but you don't want to be absolutely ridiculous about it.
And now more problems as Jacksonville called timeout, yet Gary Lane said timeout, Carolina. Referee Gary Lane having a tremendously hard time keeping track of which team is which.
Well, I think I've done it a couple times too. I mean, I know I have because I've seen you point to. I've said the Panthers, and you're pointing to Jaguars, and making all these signals to me. So it's hard because you got two cats and you got two expansion teams.
Two cats, the Panthers and the Jaguars.
Well, a Panther and a Jaguar. I mean, how much closer can you get in the cat family?
I mean, you take a look around the stadium, who knows which team. I mean, obviously Jacksonville with the home crowd, but extreme catitude.
Well, you don't know.
Well, it's in Jaguar colors.
Yeah, but it's in Panther colors too. Look at that. That sign was aqua green or whatever you call that, and black. So it could have been somebody sneaking down from across the border. You see that? You got the letter there that's aqua, and then you got the black. So it could be anything. What we have to do now, that's a Panther right there. And I know just because of the spots. Panther never changes its spots.
Who's tougher, a Panther or a Jaguar?
I don't know. I can't tell the difference between the two. The Jaguars look like they're winning out today.
And Brunell's pass complete. Jimmy Smith, who caught a touchdown pass from Mark Brunell in the first quarter, ends the third quarter with an 18-yard reception for Tim, the Jacksonville Jaguars, as they lead the Carolina Panthers 17-6 at the end of the third quarter from Jacksonville.
You're 5 days from the season premiere of The X-Files, Friday.
What's bigger than home improvement?
I want something much, much bigger!
2 home improvements.
I'm getting very excited.
Coming into your house twice a day. Twice the Tim, twice the Al.
Dreams really can come true.
Twice the spills, twice the...
I like it!
Home improvement, so good, we're doing it twice.
My body's quivering right now just thinking about this.
Home Improvement, weeknights at 6 and 7 on Fox 30.
It's Nissan's Model Year-End Blitz. Your local area Nissan dealers are bursting at the seams with tremendous deals they want to pass on to you. Rugged dependability is the game plan for the Nissan truck. Right now, you can get a great lease deal on a tough new Nissan truck. Nissan's Model Year-End Blitz. You'd better not wait. The clock is running. This deal ends September 30th. Visit your local area Nissan dealers today.
You know, a lot of people think being a pro quarterback is all glamour, but it takes a lot of hard work on the practice field. Sure, it has its rewards, but take it from me. I spend hours lifting weights and miles running the track. Also, I can enjoy a few minutes to sample the finer things in life. Yeah, I throw a lot of passes. But one thing I never pass on is the Burger King Whopper. Just 99 cents, where the big cats eat.
Excellent choice, sir.
Get news, sports, and weather first at 10 tonight.
Jacksonville Jaguars leading the Carolina Panthers through 3 quarters by the score of 17-6. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. And Tim, this looks to be survival of the fittest. I mean, 108 degrees down on the field at game time. We have players dropping due to injury, due to dehydration, and we still have 15 minutes to play.
Yeah, it's the jungle there, and we got some jungle cats, but the cats that are on top really have been Jacksonville. A lot of that because Mark Brunell took advantage of this heat in the first half. He wore down the Carolina defense. He put up some points, and now the points are going to be harder and harder to come by as everyone wears down in this heat late in the Florida afternoon sun.
James Stewart takes the handoff, and this has been a long game. We've gone 2 hours, 45 minutes, and we have only played 3 quarters. So as you saw moments ago, the temperature is actually down to 92 degrees as the Jaguars face 2nd down and 5.
I mean, when we talked about that bench before, we talked about the heat. Those black jerseys just soaking up that sun, and you said it. It's been a long day, a long afternoon, and that's what you got to do right there. You cover it up with, that's a wet towel. You get that baby wet, you put it right over your head.
A headless Panther. Brunell rolling left, keeps it, slides out of bounds, and has the 1st down. So Mark Brunell, who has run for over 50 yards on just 4 carries, 57 yards on the ground. And last week, rushing was the problem for Jacksonville throughout the New England game, but Brunell has gotten the job done here today.
Well, what that play is it's a bootleg. And we're going to take a look at what it is. It's a classic bootleg, and what you see is the quarterback spins out, and then he runs. And part of that there is to get a blocker. Now, sometimes you can bring a guy and throw the ball. On that last play, Keenan McCardell got out there as a receiver, but instead of setting up for the pass, he blocked very well for Mark Brunell, allowing him to run and almost pick up that 1st down.
It is a deep-rooted belief that life, by its very nature, is good, and that given time, everything in life, in its own way, gets better. Even cars. The new Camry. Smoother, quieter, better than ever.
And now, from Paris, from Milan, from St. Louis.
Introducing a new look from Budweiser. Born on dating. It's the day your Bud was born, because fresh beer tastes better.
Nice label.
Thanks.
This is no ordinary toothbrush. This is a Braun Oral-B plaque remover. The new Braun Oral-B Ultra. Its ultra-speed oscillating brushing action removes plaque better than an ordinary toothbrush. That's not our opinion. That's clinical fact. And its unique cup-shaped brush head cleans even below the gum line. Dentists recommend changing your toothbrush every 3 months. We suggest you change it forever with the Braun Oral-B Ultra.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the new 1997 Toyota Camry, now better than ever. By Dockers Khakis, hey, nice pants. By Allstate, for home, auto, life, and business insurance, being in good hands is the only place to be. And by the Oral-B plaque remover, providing unsurpassed clinical performance.
And we are back at Jacksonville Municipal Stadium, and the fans cooling off, as well as the officials.
Yeah, but nobody can do it like an IV.
On 3rd and short, Mark Brunell looks as if he has the 1st down. He was just short on his previous run. So the Jaguars keep their drive alive.
You know, that little play there was an important play, not only because it kept the drive alive and keeps that Panther defense out there on the field, but because they did it with the run and they did it with a surge. So Brunell just got in there behind Big Dave Waddell and Ben Coleman, his left guard, and Brian DeMarco, his right guard. He says, all right, guys, just surge. Just give me a little space.
Flag on the play as Means took the handoff up the middle for 2 yards. And this one may be called back.
Illegal motion, offense, number 20. 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
10th Jaguar penalty. The Panthers have committed only 1. 17 penalties last week, 10 so far today. Yet, as we have mentioned, the Jaguars, despite the 10 penalties, lead the game 17-6.
Yeah, and a lot of the reason for that really has been the rookie defensive lineman, Tony Brackens. He's been a one-man game turnaround guy for Jacksonville.
The Jaguars have gotten the job done rushing the ball today after the extremely poor performance last week against the Patriots. James Stewart finds a hole and bolts his way inside the 5.
Oh, that's a nice run. And you were just talking about the rushing yardage that they've got in this game. Now they got 12 more on this play, so you know the offensive line is doing something. And watch, again, Dave Waddell. Watch him set up and come around and pick off the linebacker there. Picks off the backer. And then look at that run. I mean, that's Brett Maxey. Brett Maxey's not a slouch. And James Stewart just runs over him. James Stewart has run in this game 10 times harder than he ran last week against the New England Patriots.
And the combination of Stewart and Means very effective. Here's Stewart. Bounces off one tackle and is into the end zone for the touchdown.
Wow. That looked like a Bo Jackson. What was that? The guy he beat.
Guy ran
Brian
over.
Bosworth. Play on the goal line. James Stewart just ran over Eric Davis. Well, we said he's been running hard since the very first run of the game. Watch this nice shot of it. Watch it here. Sees no hole, breaks back to the inside. Nice change of direction. Watch this. Wham! Right over the top of you, into the end zone. That's nice. Well, we said it at the beginning, Kenny. We said he had a poor game last week. Sometimes you play your best games after a bad week in the previous game.
And Mike Hollis on the extra point. So the Jaguars lead over the Panthers is now 24-6. Second touchdown of the day for James Stewart.
The symptoms of a hot, tired defense are guys on the ground. And this is a beautiful run by James Stewart and a nice second effort in changing direction. But if you'll see here, if we could stop it there, you got guys here, you got guys all over the ground. Carolina Panthers all over the ground, and James Stewart runs over Eric Davis for the touchdown.
And for, Tim, first time in Jaguar history that a Jacksonville player has scored 2 rushing touchdowns in one game. Flag on the play. The return by Tino Filion of 25 yards.
Brought down by number 88, Kendrick Willard. Penalty flag.
Holding on the return team, number 50. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So during the return, penalty on the Panthers, and they will start out deep in their own territory.
I can't believe this has happened to me. I mean, the car tires are gone and the battery's
Everybody goes through bad times. And you can see them change if you calm them down, you explain something to them when maybe they were feeling in a position of powerlessness.
Robert, could you call a cab?
That's a great feeling. When something happens to somebody else, I want to give that back.
Thank you so much.
I think that's what this is all about, really.
Being in good hands is the only place to be.
You're born, you go to school, and then one day, things begin to get interesting. Now, instead of preparing, you're doing. The stakes are a lot higher than they were in high school. Because out here, the tests you're given are of your honor, your courage, and your commitment. This is your journey. It's time you got underway. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
What better place than an NFL game to ask people about the taste of Wheaties, the breakfast of champions?
Well, you can really taste the whole wheat.
I like it. I like the taste. They've got a toasted whole wheat flavor.
Can I have another bite?
These have got a crunchy, toasted taste to them.
I'm gonna run home and buy a box of Wheaties for me and my kids.
Try the championship taste of toasted whole wheat Wheaties. Now, for a limited time, you can score by collecting all 3 Wheaties NFL All-Pro boxes.
You better eat your Wheaties.
Hey, that's my line.
You gotta play it hard.
Feel the power.
This week's Degree Hot Rookies are New England's Adam Vinatieri, Carolina's Toumanga Biakabatuka, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Each week, Degree will honor the NFL's hottest rookies, and it was Vinatieri last week helping the Patriots defeat the Jaguars in overtime. But here today, it's Jacksonville 24, Carolina 6.
Yeah, and it was Biakabatuka's injury that really has depleted Carolina's run game and helped Jacksonville today.
On the screen pass, Burline to Anthony Johnson, flag on the play. Following the completion as Eddie Robinson made the tackle.
That was a nice play by Chris Hudson, because that play has worked very well for the Carolina Panthers all season. Hudson came in, he beat the two blockers. He split the seam and made the tackle. And now Carolina's starting to self-destruct.
Ineligible downfield on the passing team, number 65. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's Frank Garcia. Now, he's a big, tough offensive guard. So you think, well, you know, he's just one of those guys who'll get out there. Here he is right here. He'll pull out. There he is. He gets a little too far downfield, and because he gets too far downfield, he misses Chris Hudson. But Garcia's not a dumb guy. He was the high school chess champion when he was a kid. I mean, you know, that's smart. But that play wasn't smart.
And it forces the Panthers back to 1st and 15. Winslow Oliver on a change of direction. Gains about 3 yards before Dana Hall and Dave Thomas combine on the tackle.
You see how this Jacksonville defense is swarming? And then the Panther defense, we saw them not swarming on the goal line. We saw guys down on the ground. That's because not only are they wearing the white jerseys, but they're fresh. Their offense, and Mark Brunell has done a nice job keeping them off the field. So they're fresh. Look at that, 336 yards of offense. That keeps your defense off the field fresh so they can swarm.
2nd down and 12. Burline from the end zone over the middle, and it's complete to Mark Carrier. He was met by Dave Thomas, and for the moment, with 10:15 remaining in this 4th quarter, the Panthers are currently the only undefeated team in the NFL, as the Giants have defeated the Vikings 15-10. And next week it will be the Vikings and the Panthers in Minnesota. But coming up next on our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader, it's the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. In an NFC West battle, Green Bay Packers battle the Seattle Seahawks, and the Rams take on the Cardinals. That's all coming up next, the second half of our doubleheader here on Fox.
We'll see how San Francisco rebounds after losing to this Carolina team last week.
And now Burline to the far side and finds Muhammad out across the 40-yard line, a gain of 20, as Burline was hit by Kelvin Pritchett, and Burline is shaken up.
Well, he's taken a pounding today. This Jacksonville defense has played so tough and so aggressively.
And there's Kerry Collins on the sidelines. Burline has already been sacked 5 times today.
Watch Pritchett. He splits the seam on a double team, and it's really not him. It's Smengi again, driving. Is it Skrepenek? He drives Skrepenek into Burline, so Smengi's doing a little more damage.
Burline hangs in there on 1st and 10. Dumps it off, and it's broken up. Eddie Robinson, how many times have we called his name this afternoon?
And this is the best he's played so far this season. So he's come on. Tony Brackens has played outstanding. And the one thing the Carolina Panthers really haven't done today, Kenny, is get the ball to Wesley Walls, which really does mystify me. This is the kind of heat that Burline's taking. Look at this. 9 knockdowns, 5 sacks, 3 hurries, 2 batted passes, and forced to scramble twice. That's a rough day. Burline will be in the ice tub tomorrow morning.
Panthers keep it on the ground, and Kevin Hardy is there.
Yeah, Eddie Robinson again. I mean, that was just a nice fill. Robinson's doing everything. He really wasn't filling until this game. He wasn't filling strong. But sometimes when you come to a new team, it's a matter of learning the system and being comfortable with where you have to be. Then all of a sudden you make a big play early on, and then you let loose, and then you get into the zone, and then you just play and use your athletic talent, which no one has ever doubted with this guy, Eddie Robinson.
And with all the talk about the Panthers defense coming into this game, it has been the Jaguars defense that has stepped up, led by Eddie Robinson and Tony Brackens. Berline on third down, airs it out, looking for Muhammad, and it is broken up. This time it is Dana Hall. Dana Hall on the double coverage, and once again the Panthers will punt.
Mickey Washington had good coverage on that, but Musa Muhammad was going to catch this ball if Dana Hall doesn't come from the center of the field. Now there's Dana Hall there, but he reads Berline right away. See, now watch, he's going to catch that ball, even though it's a tough catch. I believe Musa Muhammad's going to catch it if Dana Hall doesn't get across the field to make that play.
Don Stark will punt for the 7th time today. Low snap. Stark recovers, drives Hudson back, and he will let it roll into the end zone with under 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 58-yard punt by Stark.
The kickers for the Panthers have done nothing to help them today. The punts have been in the end zone, and the kicks, Casey's kicks, have not been through the uprights.
Who doesn't want to make the world a little safer? Safer schools, safer homes, even safer cars. The new Camry features dual airbags and a reinforced passenger cabin. We're making the world a safer place, one new Camry at a time. The new Camry, smarter, more confident, better than ever.
Presenting the ultimate tire for your sport utility vehicle, the Michelin LTX. Michelin's technological advances in sidewall and tread design give it a smoother, quieter ride than you might ever expect from a 4x4 tire. Yet it's rugged enough, tough enough, Michelin enough to get you through anything. The LTX series from Michelin.
Testing breakout jackets for Champs Sports. Evan Smith.
Prepare to test agility.
Evan Smith, report to station area B.
Hey, how are those jackets coming? The hat works great.
Prepare to test the hat.
Starter breakout jackets, exclusively at Champs Sports.
Why waste your time pitching pennies when you can tattoo yourself for prizes? It's a trip around the world! Big deal. Tonight at 7, 6 Central.
Fans here in Jacksonville certainly enjoying themselves both inside and outside the stadium, Tim.
Look at that. That's what you want to do. You see that hand there? You dip that hand in the water, and that cools you down because the blood circulates through your wrist, and then it cools you down. And I bet you these guys, these Carolina Panther guys, would love nothing more than dip their hand in that cool water because they are hot in those uniforms and they're worn out.
It's better than one of those IVs.
I don't know if it beats an IV now. Dave Thomas has played pretty well after he got that thing.
Brunell hands it off to James Stewart, and he is upended in the backfield by Greg Cragen. Right now for a McDonald's game break, James Brown at the Fox Television Center.
Kenny and Tim, Minnesota fell from the ranks of the unbeaten. This kind of sealed the deal here. Moon looking for Chris Carter. Felipe Sparks instead picks him off, and the G-men up in the Vikings 15-10. Back to Kenny Albert and Tim Green.
And 3 field goals for Brad Daloiso as the Giants win their second in a row. New York now 2-3.
Yeah, and it looks as if Carolina is going to lose their unblemished season here as well. And Tom Coughlin, nothing could be better for Tom Coughlin.
Yes, a former assistant coach with the New York Giants, as James Stewart scampers around left tackle up to the 25.
You know, Jacksonville came into this game today, Kenny, with a very fragile mentality, like a leak, like one of those crystal hummingbirds. And if that had broken, which it would have broken if they'd lost this game today, they may never have gotten that back together the whole season, because when you start out 1-3, and then if you drop to 1-4, all of a sudden guys start to pack up mentally and go south. And I know they're already south, but you go from Florida, you go south from here, you end up in Cuba. That's not where you want your mind to be as a football player in the NFL.
And, of course, the Jaguars followed the standings very closely last year as Atron Means loses yardage. Jaguars were well aware that the Panthers won 7 games, the best record ever by an expansion team, and with the Panthers' 3-0 start this season, Jacksonville, although they downplayed it, they were certainly pointing towards this one as a game they really, really wanted to win. And they are leading now 24-6. Coming up in the second half of our Fox doubleheader, the Falcons and the 49ers, as well as the Packers and the Seahawks, St. Louis and Arizona as well. Barker drives Oliver back to the 27. Spins across the 35, and with just over 5.5 remaining, another opportunity for the Panthers. 53-yard punt by Barker.
Well, Kenny, we've been talking all afternoon about Tony Bracken's a young rookie. So let's go to some footage from some highlights for him. A game summary of Tony Brackens. Look at it. There's the first one. The sack, the fumble in the first quarter, and the recovery by Brackens. Second quarter, here he is, comes in and gets the sack there. Forces the fumble, and that's another sack for Brackens. Now here, tips the ball, knocks it down, disrupts Berline once again, and then watch this on the run play. Second quarter there, making a tackle in the backfield. So he really has played not only the pass and rushed the passer, he knocked balls down, he got recoveries, he forced fumbles, and he played the run. It does not get any better than that.
Second-round draft pick from the University of Texas. Berline slides, and he gains about 3 yards on first down, and Berline once again is shaken up. And there is Kerry Collins, who is out with the sprained knee, but he is the backup quarterback today. If anything were to happen to Berline, and that could be the case here, Collins would most likely come in.
Well, Berline has taken a flat beating today because these guys have come at him, and they drew some penalties earlier, but it didn't slow him down. And I think that was smart because you don't want the penalties, but you want to play aggressively. And now he slides, and I think that's how he hurts himself. When he slides, look at it right there. You see the pain on his face, and he grabs his knee after the slide.
Now, here's a question for you, Tim. Hypothetical situation. The third quarterback is Jay Barker, and the third quarterback can come into a game, but at that point, the first and second cannot return, the other two quarterbacks. So if Berline cannot resume here, would you put in Collins trailing by 18 points with 5.5 left, or would you not risk Collins' knee and just go with Jay Barker the rest of the way? Is there enough time to come back?
Yeah, there's always enough time. And here, I can't figure out where he hurt his left knee on that. But yeah, there's always enough time. And Dom Capers is the kind of guy who probably say, well, look, let's take a couple quick shots at the end zone here. And our best shot with it is Kerry Collins. And I understand what you're saying about Collins' injury and not bringing him back, but they would not have made him the second quarterback today if they didn't feel that they could use him in a pinch. Now, the last thing you want to do if you're Dom Capers is just, if you put your third quarterback in now, you're writing off the rest of the game. You're saying, all right, we're not going to do our best to win this game, because to do your best, you've got to put Collins in.
So it will be Kerry Collins, who missed last week's game with the sprained left knee, did an outstanding job last year, winning 9 of his last 13 starts. Collins out of Penn State, #1 draft pick a year ago. And he is the starter. No quarterback controversy whatsoever, despite Berline's outstanding numbers last week against the 49ers.
Yeah, unfortunately for Carolina, Steve Berline did not have those same numbers today. But part of that has been just a flat Jacksonville pass rush that's been devastating.
So Kerry Collins at the helm, and his first pass is nearly picked off by Mickey Washington.
Yeah, I mean, they got pressure right in Collins' face immediately. And once again, it's up front. It's that Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line that's played so well the entire game.
So 3rd down and 6 upcoming for the Panthers, who trail 24-6. James Stewart with 2 rushing touchdowns for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And here's Collins to the air once again. He lofts it up, and the pass is incomplete, but a flag.
Yeah, that's going to be on Mickey Washington. So they're going to get the ball there and the first down.
Muhammad nearly held on, but draws the penalty. Penalty number 11 on the Jaguars.
You hate to see Musa Muhammad limping for Carolina. They already lost their one big rookie in Tamanga Biakabatuka.
interference, defense, number 25, first down.
Well, Mickey Washington knew he was going to have a physical day today against Musa Muhammad. He saw what Musa Muhammad did last week to Marquez Pope, the cornerback for the 49ers. So he's beaten here, and he just gets his hands on that arm. Otherwise, Muhammad does catch that ball.
So it will be a first down and 10 on the Jaguars 30.
And I like the way this guy plays, though, despite the penalty, and I like the way he fills on the run as a cornerback. You don't see that very often.
Collins over the top. Carrier, the intended receiver, but double coverage on the play. And Collins took a hit.
Yeah, Collins gets to get a little taste of what Steve Berline has had all afternoon. And again, it's these guys up here. I mean, it's the front. They only rush 4, but look at Smengi. Look what Smengi does to Brockermeyer. I mean, Smengi just throws him back like he's a rag doll. And then Davies coming up the middle again, and he's the one who gets the hit. Now, he got a couple penalties earlier. You can't slow down Davies. That's the beauty of a veteran guy. We talk about the Carolina's veteran defensive players, but Davies is a veteran defensive player that Jacksonville's brought in, and he brings in a lot of heart. They got him again.
Yes, another flag as Collins took a hit.
They're hammering Collins. And Davies back there again. He's back at it again.
I mean, you get the feeling that Jacksonville, the defensive players, were so tired of reading about the exploits of the Carolina defense and Dick Duran, the defensive coordinator, formerly with the Green Bay Packers. They have gone out there today and shown what they can do.
Yeah. And they found a rookie who's an impact guy in brackets.
Offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
Tight end Walter Rasby.
Game clock to 4, 5, 6.
There you go. We're going to get 2 more seconds.
They had a big 2 seconds to the game clock.
But you know what? Hey, that's precision. If they didn't do it right, they'd get docked. See, the officials get graded on every game. And if they get the good grades, then at the end of the season, they get to go to the playoffs and then ultimately the Super Bowl. So you don't want to get docked and miss the playoffs as an official because you didn't put 2 seconds back.
Now the 2 seconds have ticked off again as the second down pass is complete. Rocket Ismail with his first reception of the game. Dragged out by Robert Massey. Jim, Wednesday, it's Game 2 of the American League Division Series as the Texas Rangers battle the New York Yankees. Tom Brenneman and Bob Brenly from Yankee Stadium. And then Thursday, it's Joe Buck and Tim McCarver with Game 2 of the National League Division Series. The Atlanta Braves against the loser of today's game between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. And the Ismail reception will be called back. Another Carolina penalty.
Number 52, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat down.
Well, they're tired and they're sloppy. That's Matt Elliott. He's in the game for Mark Dennis, who had so many problems with Tony Brackens earlier in the game. And Matt Elliott playing a position he's not really used to at left tackle. He's normally a guard.
So it's now second down and 25 for Kerry Collins and the Panthers.
I'll tell you something. They better take Kerry Collins. They might as well take Kerry Collins out because you know what? The Jacksonville defense just put pressure. They just got a hit on Kerry Collins with 3 guys. They got Clyde Simmons. They got Don Davey. They got Paul Fraze. They got 3 with 6 to block them, and they couldn't even keep them out. So if the Carolina offensive line is going to capitulate like that, then they might as well just put in their 3rd-string quarterback and save Kerry Collins from taking the abuse.
And there is Jay Barker, second-year man out of Alabama. Kerry Collins suffered that sprained left knee a couple of weeks back, missed last week's game against the 49ers. And now Collins airs it out, takes another hit, and the pass is caught. What a catch by Muhammad.
That's what a big physical guy does. You know, we talk about the comparisons people make to Michael Irvin and Chris Carter. Those are exactly the kind of tricks they use. Musa Muhammad, only a rookie, but watch how he pushes off the defenders to make this catch. He uses that big physical frame to get himself open. Watch it here. Look what he does. See how he puts a hand on Mickey Washington to steady himself and give Washington just a little bit of a shove on by. That's veteran play by a rookie receiver.
And a gain of 39 yards. Coming up next, the San Francisco 49ers, who were defeated by the Carolina Panthers 1 week ago. They take on the winless Atlanta Falcons. In addition, Green Bay against Seattle, and the St. Louis Rams against the former St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis and Arizona.
Now, the thing I want to see here is what's going to happen without Steve Young. Can San Francisco rebound? Here, I want to see if Green Bay can come back and win on some artificial turf. They've had problems with turf. And then down here, I want to see this guy right here. I want to see Tony Banks for the St. Louis Rams and see what he can do, because he's got a big, strong arm, and he can throw that long ball.
And his primary target in college last year was that man, Muhsin Muhammad at Michigan State.
Yeah, so you know he's used to going deep.
First and goal on the 6. 3 wide receivers. Collins looks end zone, looks Wesley Walls, but it is incomplete.
You know, we talked about Wesley Walls, and I've complained a little bit. I bellyached a little bit about how the Panthers didn't get the ball to him. But, you know, when a guy's not getting a ball, it's not always just the quarterback not looking for him, because Jacksonville came into this game planning Wesley Walls, and what they said to us was, we want to make sure that we always have a strong safety on Wesley Walls. We don't want to try to cover him with a linebacker. He's too dangerous. He's too good. We'll put a safety on him, and sometimes they've even double covered him today.
Second and goal. Collins to the end zone. It's broken up, intercepted, and a flag. No, it hit the turf. Hit the turf before Robinson scooped it up, but a flag was thrown. Yeah, and Collins seems to think it's on the Jaguars.
It is. Kevin Hardy was all over Wesley Walls. So now they're going to get a first down right on the 1 yard line. Now he can argue all he wants. He's not going to win that argument.
Holding defense, number 51. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
And this is part of the reason why you want to put a safety on Wesley Walls, because he starts to get away from you. And here he is right here. There it is. And then you can see the hold that he had on Wesley Walls. He had the hold on him, hooks on him as he went by. Because Walls is just really tough to cover for a linebacker. He'll get away from you. And here it is right here. A little bit blurry, but he did have the hook right around his waist to slow Walls down. And once again, really all he did was save him from a touchdown.
Collins calls timeout once again. Or correction, it was Jacksonville calling timeout. They were not set defensively, so the Jaguars have called time. Carolina with no timeouts remaining, and the Panthers still looking for their first rushing touchdown of 1996. 4:19 to go. Tom Coughlin and the Jaguars leading the Panthers 24-6. Coming up next, our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader continues. The Falcons battle the 49ers. Green Bay at Seattle, and the St. Louis Rams take on the Arizona Cardinals. If you're having trouble with the Panthers and the Jaguars, how about fans watching back in St. Louis as their Rams take on their former club, the former St. Louis Cardinals, now the Arizona Cardinals.
I still say the Jaguars and the Panthers, that's tougher. There's Don Davey. Look at the sweat, man. His sweat's coming right through. You can see his entire gut. That's great. He's played hard today, real hard.
Collins looking end zone. Can't find anybody. Now he does and has the touchdown to Wesley Walls. And a flag was thrown once again. What a surprise.
Yeah, but that's the guy. I mean, Wesley Walls is the guy that you want to find. They found him too late. Man, he's working, too. Look at Walls. Look at the
number
back.
85 had gone out of bounds and came back in. It was the first one to touch the ball. Really was incomplete. Lost him down.
That's the second time we've seen that penalty called today.
Yeah, but this is the first time that we've seen it on the pass play. The other time was on the punt. You're absolutely right. Now, here's Wesley back here. So what happens is he makes that break. He turns there it is. He put his left foot out of bounds. And so now he cannot be the first one to touch it or else it's a penalty. Now if the ball is tipped or something like that, then he can catch it and bring it down. But look how he's working. Look at the back of his jersey. I mean, he's got grass stains on the back of his jersey. It's been a rough day for him. And he really has not been as effective as we've seen him in past weeks.
Collins, and this time it is Mark Carrier for the touchdown. So one play after the penalty, Carrier in the end zone for the second time today. And Kerry Collins throws his third touchdown pass this season.
So now, Kenny, you got to go for a 2-point conversion, and then if you get it, you're only down by 10. So Carrier is going to come in from the outside. And look, we've been saying all day that he comes in and he finds a soft spot in the zone. So they send Wesley Walls up the middle to draw the safety and the linebacker, and Carrier breaks it into that soft spot.
First 2-point conversion attempt all season for the Panthers. Here's Collins with room, takes it himself. And Kerry Collins into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. It's now 24-14. So following the missed extra point by Casey earlier, the Panthers now with the 2 touchdowns and the 2-point conversion as they trail by 10.
I told you Dom Capers will not give up. And you saw that as evidenced by the fact that he put Collins into the game. Now, Collins makes a smart move here. He doesn't have tremendous speed, but he sees that that thing is so wide open that he can make it. Bum knee and all. And he pulls that ball in. He makes a smart decision by not trying to force that ball into the coverage and running it in on his own. Now, at some point in time, we're going to see an onside kick. Now, will it be now or will it be later? You don't know exactly when it's going to be, because what Carolina may choose to do is they may choose to kick the ball off, depend on their defense to come up with some big plays, turn that ball right around, and then they go back down and score again.
And remember, the Panthers do not have any remaining timeouts, however, which could be a factor with 4:07 to go.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
So we'll see how the Panthers line it up on the kickoff. John Casey spotting the ball on the 30-yard line.
Go for the onside kick.
And the Jaguars will also shift the majority of their players over to the left side.
Now Casey wants to squib this ball, bounce it for about 10 yards low, and then have it take a pop.
Here we go, and let's see who recovers.
Oh,
still loose. Yes, the Jaguars have recovered.
They had a chance. It was a nice onside kick, about as good as you can get it. They didn't come up with that ball. That ball scribbed around there for quite a while. Now watch it. He kicks it nicely. It rolls, and then watch it'll take the bounce. Boom.
Right under
Bounces
Thomas.
Up, under Thomas. Somebody takes a hit on Thomas. Anthony Johnson had the best shot at it.
And finally, it was Pete Mitchell who covered up. So for the Jaguars, a 10-point lead and the ball on the Panthers' 44-yard line. Just over 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. This is James Stewart. First down and more. Finally taken to the turf by Brett Maxey after the long gain, 21 yards on the first down for Stewart.
This man, James Stewart, has had an outstanding day. He's really run with heart. He's run fast. He's run hard. When people have hit him, he's kept churning. He's kept going. 79 yards and 2 touchdowns today in 19 carries. So not only does Jacksonville have a ground game, they've got a back who can do some damage.
Intron Means. And a flag is thrown. Clock stops with 3:10 remaining.
Now look at the use of the hands. hands to the feints, offense, defense, number 91, 5 yards from the end of the run, first down.
You can't even get offense and defense straight.
I told you it's hot down there. We know that. That heat will get to your head. Now here's Kevin Green right here. We'll take a look. He's got the tight end coming down on him, and he gets a hand right up under the mask there and puts a little bit of a professional wrestling move onto Rich Griffin.
He thought it was Ric Flair.
Yeah, he
Rich
thought it was
Griffin.
or Steve McMichael, who sold him out in that Ric Flair match.
Atron Means once again up the middle for 2 yards. 3 minutes to go. I'd like to thank our producer, Bill Brown, director, Peter Bleckner, statisticians here in the booth, Eric Merlis and Barry Hockhauser, and the rest of our crew, as Tom Coughlin and the Jacksonville Jaguars look to make it 2-3 the season. Coming up next, you will see either the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. Up next for Jacksonville, they visit New Orleans next week, while the Carolina Panthers will travel to Minnesota. And now the play clock ran down to 0. The question is, did Brunell...
5-yard penalty.
Nope, he did not call timeout. So the Jaguars will be forced back 5 yards once again. And we've talked about the terrific play of the defense, and especially Eddie Robinson. And next week, Robinson and the Jaguars visit the Saints. Eddie Robinson's father, Eddie Sr., is the events and facilities coordinator at the Superdome. So he will have a chance to see his son play on the field he helps manage.
Downloading another statistic out of that prodigious mind of yours.
Prodigious. You were waiting all game to use that.
No, I wasn't. It just came to me. Just like this game came to James Stewart. I mean, this was just a game for him. I mean, here's a guy who had a terrible game last week, and I've got to tell you that people within this organization, teammates, started to wonder, is James Stewart just a guy, or is he a runner? He's a runner. He ran it today. He didn't stop.
It can't be. I got to see. It is. The 365. Boss, give a look.
Ugye ez egy IBM ThinkPad. 365-ös.
Az bizony. It could be no other. Feel the track point. Feast your eyes on the screen. Can we swing it, boss, huh?
Meglepően olcsó.
Yeah. That's my boss. What a guy, huh?
How you invest or what you invest in, we make it easy. Isn't it time you had Fidelity Investments working for you?
Life's funny. You never know what to expect. But you do with the Toyota Corolla. It comes equipped with a 20-sensor self-diagnostic system to help ensure things are exactly as you'd expect at every turn. Life's full of surprises. Your car shouldn't be one of them. The newly restyled Toyota Corolla. It's where 28 years of innovation have taken us.
You know how good The X-Files is. After winning more Emmys than any other drama, so does the world. The X-Files season premiere, Friday on Fox.
Back in Jacksonville, watching Carolina take their lumps. There's Kevin Green. Now, he took some lumps we talked about in the offseason in the wrestling match. He was wrestling a tag team. Now, Steve McMichael was the former Bears defensive lineman who teamed up with him to defend the honor of McMichael's wife. When Kevin Green got into the ring, he was beating on Ric Flair. McMichael got a suitcase of $100,000 on the corner of the ring. He got paid off, and he came in and he bushwhacked Kevin Green. So Kevin Green not only has it in for the Jacksonville Jaguars and what they did to him today, he's got it in for James Stewart, who's run all over his defense, Ric Flair, and Steve McMichael.
And Ric Flair attended the Panthers home game against the 49ers, and Kevin Green was sure to point up into the section where Flair was sitting, and he said, "This is my town. I own Charlotte."
Yeah.
And James Stewart now with 96 yards. Jaguars have never had a 100-yard rusher. The team record is 97 yards in one game, and that was Stewart last year against Chicago. So he needs 4 more yards.
Yeah, but they're taking him out.
Yes, he is.
That's one
he
thing.
He has trotted over to the sideline.
Yeah, that's one thing about Tom Coughlin. You'd think you'd leave the guy in to get 100, but Coughlin's thinking about winning a game. He's not thinking about getting a guy some statistics.
Yeah, team above individual.
Yep.
As Natron Means takes the handoff. Next up for the Carolina Panthers, it will be the Minnesota Vikings, now 4-1. The Panthers will drop to 3-1. And then a couple of home games against St. Louis and New Orleans, while the Jacksonville Jaguars next week travel down to New Orleans. The Saints 0-5 as they were in 1995. 40 seconds to go as James Stewart, the star offensively, Tony Brackens and Eddie Robinson defensively for the Jaguars, as Brunell goes down to one knee. And the Jacksonville Jaguars will defeat the Carolina Panthers in the first ever regular season meeting between last year's 2 expansion clubs.
And I think you have to mention Mark Brunell, too, and what he did for this Jacksonville offense early on in the game. Because you remember, he was very hot, he completed a lot of balls, and he got his team up very quickly, 17-0.
So for Tim Green, Kenny Albert saying so long from Jacksonville, where the Jaguars have defeated the Panthers 24-14. Stay tuned for the second half of Fox Sports doubleheader action. Atlanta against the 49ers. Green Bay takes on Seattle, and it's St. Louis against Arizona, so check local listings. You are watching Fox Sports coverage of the National Football League, home of Super Bowl 31.